Yeah, we are live in effect. We're back. It's Monday evening, and you already know what time it is. We at 101 TKO Radio. Your boy Johnnie Cabbell live in the building. Waiting on my DJ to get here. My co-host. Now we're gonna have to get on her because this is her second Monday. She didn't miss, and she just started. Now, I ain't see that much vacation time put in, so we're going to have to get on her and just let her know that, hey, you ain't got that many sick days already. You ain't put in enough time yet. But anyway, shouts out to my co-host, Yoni Supreme. She out here making moves, out here doing things. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my people on IG who really be showing me a lot of love, who really be supporting me, and who really, you know what I'm saying, be giving me a lot of good advice and everything. So shout out to all my individuals, all my supporters that's on IG Live. I am Trey, Michael Rockman, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that's on here, you know. So shouts out to y'all. I need y'all to show some support. Call into the station, 678-439-7419. Show your boy some love. Let me know what you think about the show, what you want to see that we could do different, that we make better, whatever it is, whatever's on your mind. We want to hear from you. We want to know because we build it every week. It's a new experience. You know what I'm saying? We come up with a new, fresh idea. We added a co-host. First, I ain't have a DJ. I got a DJ. I ain't have a co-host. Got a co-host. You know what I'm saying? So we adding things as we go. But we want y'all to be a part of this experience, to be a part of the growth, everything that we're doing up here at 101 TKO Radio. But what I need y'all to do, I need y'all to download that app. Download the app right now, 101 TKO Radio. Download the app. Not only do I need you to download the app, I need you to subscribe to our YouTube page and our Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube page and the Facebook. Also, just check out the app. Check out everything that 101 TKO Radio got going on within itself. We have a lot of dope shows. Like, I'm just going to be serious. I don't know what all the other internet radio shows is doing, but 101 TKO Radio, we got some dope shows Monday through Friday. Do we have shows on the weekend now? So no weekends, just Monday through Fridays. We got a lot of great dope shows. And y'all need to check it out. You know what I'm saying? Shouts out to my girl Skittles. Skittles is on every Friday. What time Skittles come on?
12:30 to 3:30.
12:30 to 3:30 every Friday. Chelsea's on Mondays.
Yep. From 11 to 12:30.
From 11 to 12:30. We got a show that's on Thursday, because that's a new show. We got one of our new shows. We got
Moonwalker with Don and Dave.
Moonwalker with Don and Dave.
And they're from 3 to 5.
They from 3 to 5. And we also got a couple other shows as well. So, you know, y'all need to check it out because we're doing a lot of big things. The station is also in the community heavy. They're out there heavy doing a lot of stuff as far as with the schools, doing stuff with the, are we still doing the Radio Academy?
Yeah, we still got that in the works.
Still got the Radio Academy in the works. I mean, it's a lot of different events that be going on. Like, man, our CEO, the owner, one of the owners of 101 TKO Radio, they be working. Her and Nelly, they stay working, stay busy, stay out there. You know, so just a big shout out to 101 TKO Radio, the whole staff, everybody that's out there doing their thing. But I got my boy BENZINO who will be in the building today. If y'all want to ask a question, if you want to know something, please leave me a comment on my IG Live. Leave a comment on the YouTube page, because they can leave a comment on our YouTube page, right? See, if you download the app, you can leave a comment on the YouTube page or the Facebook page. That's why we need y'all to download the app. Very, very important. But listen, man, I really need you all to make sure that y'all call in support. I got people on my IG Live talking about they need me to put the number back in there to pin it, you know what I'm saying, as well. Everything else that's there. Okay, I'm going to do that when I go to break. I'm going to get that going. You know what I'm saying? See, that's why I got a great support team. You know what I'm saying? My IG family, they be keeping me on point. John, you had to put that number back up there. So, we're going to get the number back up there. But I need y'all to call in, show your boy some love, show your boy some support. 678-439-7419. What we about to get ready to do right now. And that's, man, I got to give a shout out to my boy Trey. He all the way from Oakland, California. See, we global with this thing. That's why it's global vision, baby. You know what I'm saying? We global. I got people on the West Coast, East Coast, South. You know what I'm saying? The Midwest. We out here. But make sure you download the app. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Spread the word. Send it out on your IG Live. However you're watching, if you're on our YouTube page, if you're on our Facebook, ping somebody. Just tell them to come in and support. You know what I'm saying? Let's build these numbers up. Let's do 1,000. I want to be in the 1,000. I be seeing some people lives, excuse me, and some of their pages, and they be in the 1,000. So I want y'all to spread the word. I need y'all to help me get these numbers up all the way. That's why you got to download the app. Cannot stop stressing that enough. I'm going to talk about that all through the show. The next day, when I come back and talk about it some more, download the app, 101 TKO Radio. But what we about to do, about to get ready to go to a commercial break, and we're going to give a tribute out to a very special person that we lost. He was very important to the city. Not only was he very important, he was in the community, great family man, done a lot for the hip-hop culture, discovered some of the biggest groups, that's out here. If y'all know who I'm talking about, man, we need to take a moment of silence just real quick for my man, Rico Wade. Just a moment of silence. Yeah, that was for my man Rico Wade. We're going to do a little tribute for him, for 101 TKO Radio to get in front of Johnnie Cabbell show. I want to do a tribute, for very good friend, someone that I had the pleasure of meeting and, doing stuff with. So definitely want to give a shout out to my man Rico Wade. Nelly, take us out. And this is for you, Rico.
Scene was so thick.
Yeah. We back. We are back in the building. You know what I'm saying? Had to do that tribute out to my man Rico Love. Man, that music just took me back, man. I felt like I was back in the, you know what I'm saying, the early 90s and everything, you know. So we had to give a tribute out to our man Rico Love. Respect to the family. I mean, oh my gosh, I can't believe I messed that man's name up. Rico Wade. I don't know where I got the love from. Well, I know Rico Love too, but gosh, can't believe I did that. But shout out to my man Rico Wade, man. Rico Wade. But we got my man BENZINO, who is finally in the building.
Yeah.
Man, first of all, how you doing?
Good, everything good.
That's good, man.
Yes,
That's good. I know the week, I think it was last week when you were supposed to be here and
2 weeks
everything.
ago.
Well, 2 weeks ago. Man, you had my phone going crazy. Even my son, they're like, "Dad, what happened to Zeno?" I said, he coming back. You know, he has a little complicated, but he coming back and everything. Now getting DMs again. I'm like,
Man.
this nigga Zeno got me lit right now. They want to see you.
Man, that's a good look. You know what I'm saying, man? Man, it's hard though. You know what I'm saying? You show me the place, man. This right here look good, Johnny.
Man, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? This 101 TKO radio.
Can you go live and see it right now?
Yeah, we on live on YouTube. We live on Facebook.
I'm on the mic now, so you can go live on YouTube and Facebook and see it.
Tell them to download the app.
Oh, you can download the app. All right.
Yeah, they can download the app, 101 TKO Radio. And we on YouTube. Or they just go straight to YouTube, right?
Yep.
Go straight to YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And type it in and everything. But yeah, man, we doing a thing, man. 101 TKO Radio. This where I'm at now. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of great dope shows. I hate that my co-host is not here, but she definitely said she'll be calling in and everything. That's my girl, Yoni Supreme.
Okay.
Shouts out to her. Got my man, DJ Superstar. One of the best DJs out there. You know what I'm saying?
I do what I can, bro.
So yeah. So we got DJ Superstar, got my man Nelly and everything. This my team, my family, my home. You know what I'm saying? It's going down real big. So we're going to get into this interview in a second. But before we get into that, you know, we got to, you know what I'm saying, see how I got to check in with my team, see how everything went for the weekend, and also get into our, you know what I'm saying, our 101 TKO IG news. That's what we're going to call it. 101 TKO IG news. But Superstar, what you had going on this weekend, man?
Man, you know, Johnny, working non-stop, man. I've been, DJing since Thursday, bro. So, yeah. Had a high school event to do Saturday.
Okay.
Had a nice little masquerade event Saturday night. And then back at Intoxicated Chemist. So, busy, man.
Okay.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
Man, everything was good, man. I went to 2 award shows.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was at Yo ATL Rap award show. Shouts out to Yo ATL Rap.
Yeah.
They had a really nice award show this year.
That's dope.
Like they gave a tribute out to Raheem the Dream, Splat Pat, 12 Gauge,
ATL Legends.
Prince Raheem, guy with 2 other people. They also gave out a Legend Award to Cut Close.
Okay.
Man, Cut Close. They did their
legends,
thing.
bro.
Man, came in, did their thing. But my artists, they won 2 awards apiece.
That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? Shauna Red won 2 awards. You know, Bree Biasi won 2 awards. You know, so we cleaned up. I got an Icon Award. So, you know, we cleaned up house that night.
Bro. Congratulations.
You know, and then Sunday I went to the Boss Awards, and Bree performed there, and she killed it.
That's major.
She killed it. So yeah, I had a pretty dope weekend.
That's
man.
what's
pretty
up,
dope
bro.
Weekend. Nelly, what you had pushing this weekend? Now I know you were busy.
Yeah, you know, just like Superstar was talking about, you know what I'm saying, on Saturday we did Stevenson High School. They did a spring festival, so we was out there representing and everything. And then outside of that, man, I just, you know what I'm saying, went over my mom's crib, you know, so did a little yard work over there and just chilled with her. And, you know what I'm saying, and then my 2 daughters, they stopped by. So, you know what I'm saying, so that was really about it, my weekend. Just relax.
Okay. Man, we might well get straight into it because I'm ready to dive into this interview with my boy BENZINO. He in the building. Zeno, how was your weekend?
Man.
Party family. So how was your
You
weekend?
know, I went to the podcast festival,
Okay.
Charlemagne's podcast festival.
Okay.
And you know, it was over there, and you know what Pullman Yards is?
Pullman Yards.
That's
Nice.
like
So what
downtown
about
in the city.
Kirkwood? What about Kirkwood?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was an outside venue, pretty dope.
How was that experience there?
It was good. It was good seeing like a lot of podcasters there from all over. That's the whole thing now. It was like nothing but podcasters there.
That's
like,
the thing now. People
hundreds
are
of
making
podcasters.
money off that.
It was like
They're making money.
It was like the zombies. That everybody was a podcaster. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
So let me. Will we get podcasts or will Zeno bring out his talk show?
I mean, you know, I definitely, you know what I'm saying, I think, you know, now, I think I'm ready to do it. You know what I'm saying? I think at this moment, I think I'm ready. I mean, there was always like kind of talks these last few years, but I just had to be ready. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mentally ready. So, you
I
know,
think I see you up there with Joe. But I see you up there with all of them.
I mean, you know,
Willie and everybody.
Listen,
Cause
I appreciate that.
I could just like your energy, your vibe,
Appreciate
and just
that,
who
Johnny.
you are and what you have brought to the industry, the culture itself, and everything. I know you're a killer.
No, I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I've been around for a minute. I definitely been around for a minute. A lot of different lanes when it comes to the culture. And you know, one thing about me is like, you know, I got love for it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
this is what we do, just as I know you do. You know,
Yeah.
we older, but we got love for this, and I think that's what keeps us motivated. You know, that's what keeps us, you know.
But the difference in your older is it's like you age backwards. Like
Nah.
every time I see you look younger and younger, man.
Nah,
It's
I
like how do
appreciate
you
man.
do it?
You know, I mean, just diet. You know what I'm saying? Work out, diet. You know, and I be telling I'm not sure of this, but I don't drink a lot. I don't drink a lot. I think for some reason, I think drinking speeds up the aging process. I just, something tells me, a lot of my guys from Boston, a lot of my guys I grew up with, you know, drinkers, man, you could tell, you know, and you know, I don't know biologically how it happens, but some just tells me that drinking a lot speeds up the aging process.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're about to get into our, you know what I'm saying, news report. 101 TKO Hip Hop IG News Report. Nelly, what you got for us?
All right, so one of the things, make sure this mic is on.
So, talking about Johnny and the BENZINO show.
Let's go.
So there was, you know, an article that, you know what I'm saying, Earthquake had put out there about
I seen that.
about a lady. Her fiance was killed by her son. Now,
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Man, really?
but the twist was, it was, you know, typically you would hear like, you know, saying lady sobbing or whatever, but the way she would just talk, she was saying like her son was jealous because they was getting ready to kick him out. But you know, a lot of people were saying
The mama was saying that?
yeah.
Yeah. She was in love. She said she was in love. She made that clear.
She was in love with the guy that killed that.
No. She was in love with
her
her
fiance.
With the fiance, brother.
So she was saying that her son was jealous because he was, you know, was going to get ready to get kicked out the house and everything.
I can see that.
Now, here's
Not jealous, but I can see him being upset.
right. So here's the twist about it. You know, a lot of people was wondering was she had some mental issue because she was saying the son had it was the devil in him versus, you know, saying schizophrenia or anything like that. So the way she was twisting it as though, you know, it was you know, say it was the devil in him. And
Is there any insurance policies involved in this?
They ain't going.
Come out to that story.
It
Yeah,
got
I
to
think-
be like
right.
that. Yeah, they got to check to see if there's any insurance type of policies involved, man. Because has anybody ever tried to take insurance policy out on you?
I have had a couple of people take some insurance.
You
policy out on me.
didn't feel funny? Be honest.
It made me raise an eyebrow.
Right.
It made me raise an eyebrow. I have to be honest. Definitely made me raise an eyebrow. Yeah.
You got to be careful with that
You gotta be
insurance.
careful.
For real.
But I'm still looking on my back. You know, I just went through a divorce. You know, I know my head. Well, I'm like,
You got to be careful with that, man.
Exactly. What else we got going on?
So, a Louisiana man was sentenced to physical now, not you know what I'm saying, by ejection, physical castration.
Now that I heard about. Now that's some
for
bullshit.
rape.
That's some. I mean, what's he gonna do without his shit? Without it, what's the fuck is he gonna do without that? You might as well just put me on a chair. Chairs electrocute me.
Well,
Shit.
I mean, he
Get
ain't
me
gonna be
up
able to
outta
do that
here.
anyway, because they gave him like, what, 50 years or something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
they gave him.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you're gonna take that, man, you're taking everything. Like, what's the use? Like, you know, one thing about Louisiana, man, them laws down there. You know, Louisiana their laws is from France, where everywhere else is like from England, as far as like the judicial system. So it's different in Louisiana. They have parishes. Everywhere else has counties. It's different because their original laws came from France, and France laws are harsh, man. Like, the years they get in Louisiana be like 137 years, 180 years.
Like, who gonna make it through that?
Like, come on, man. It's just mentally crazy. So castration, we need to be saying no to that shit. I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, a guy raping kids, a guy raping. I mean, listen, but castration that's something.
That's my
different.
first time hearing about something.
See,
I heard that.
I heard they do it, you know what I'm saying, with injection, you know what I'm saying, chemical injection, chemical castration.
Yeah,
but
man.
talking
Put
about
me to
physical?
sleep. Yeah, take me up
that's-
out of here. Yeah, take me out my misery. I need mines. Even if you in jail, you can, you know what I'm saying, you can grab that motherfucker and, you know what I'm saying, but.
We gotta cut watch you on the radio.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you good. Just had to let you know. I don't want to be getting a text. Johnny, tell your guests to calm it down.
Yeah, my bad. But
So-
we all agree that do you think that's a little harsh?
Yeah, it is harsh.
Yeah, okay.
It is harsh because, man, I want to leave. I gotta have that feeling.
Yeah, circumcised is like, damn, never mind, take it over.
Yeah, gotta have that feeling. What else we got now?
So going into the sports, so you see the Bucks got eliminated.
Swept.
Who
Got
got
swept.
eliminated? The Bucks. By who?
Indiana Pacers.
No. It's 3-1. It's 3-1. There's one more left. Who got eliminated? The Suns got eliminated.
That's right.
That's who got
right.
eliminated.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
Kevin
That's
Durant
right.
got
Kevin
eliminated.
Durant, cause,
Yeah.
what's his name was
Yeah.
talking
Edward,
mess about him.
Ant-Man. Come on,
Yeah.
Atlanta.
He
Come
was
on,
like,
man.
I was a pleasure playing, but I just want to let him know I sent them home.
Where's Ant from in Atlanta? What part of Atlanta you
I'm
from?
not sure.
Because he represent, man. That's the face of the NBA right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I said, man. But what's been interesting is the Lakers, they snuck a game in. They snuck a game. You think they going to be able to pull it off? You think they coming back?
No, it's over.
It's over with.
When you look at what's going on, it's like the older guys, they're all, Kevin Durant, LeBron. This is a young man's game. Although they're great, this is a young man legs game. And if you notice who's getting swept in 3-1 are all the older guys when you look at it. You know what I'm saying?
Because if you think about it, Curry didn't even make it to the playoffs.
Gone. Out of here.
Yeah.
Although
They say they breaking up that hole. It's time to break all them up, too.
I think they're gonna stay together. I think they're gonna give it one more time and just try to
You
add
think
some
they gonna
pieces.
give it one more
I think
time?
I think they've been there long enough to say, hey, look, we'll try one more, get the right pieces in, and we'll see what we could. It's egos involved. You can't tell Kerry, Green, or Clay that they're finished. So I'm sure their egos will be like, look, let's give this one more run. If anybody goes, it's gonna be Clay, I think.
Yeah,
If
that's
somebody-
what I think that's going to be gone at.
But I don't know. Him and Curry I just seen their brand new Subway commercial, so who knows?
Okay.
Then also, you see the Knicks, New York Knicks, they are up 3-1.
That's a good. No, their series is. I think
Yeah.
it's 3-1.
3-1,
Yeah, that's a
right.
great series though. They've been
So I
balling,
think,
man.
I think the Knicks going to go ahead and pull it out because they're going back to New York.
It don't matter as long as they come to Boston, baby. It don't matter. Knicks, Sixers. You know what I'm saying? It don't. You know what I mean? Whoever. You know what I'm saying? As long as they come to Boston.
Okay.
And one last thing, what I'm saying, got to ask Johnny, what you think about the Falcon first round pick?
Man, why you had to bring that up?
It's a great pick, Johnny.
I mean, but I don't think we needed it right. I think we could have got a more important piece
You
as
gotta
far as
understand. You gotta understand right here. See, and if Cousins is gonna come in and really get y'all maybe to the playoffs, that means y'all's next few years draft picks are gonna be very, very way down the line. You're not gonna be able to get a quarterback
Exactly
of
what I
the
was saying.
future.
Exactly
So
what I was
right
saying.
now, you want to get the best player and just have him learn from Cousins. It was a great pick because that's gonna be the most critical position of your team. And he's a black quarterback. He's gonna, he's gonna bring back that Michael Vick, shades of Vick. Yeah, you know, I mean, I
I
think
ain't think about it like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I ain't think about it like
Y'all
that.
are gonna have no high draft picks because Cousins gonna take you far. He might not take you to the Super Bowl, but he's gonna take you to the playoffs. That means y'all gonna have y'all draft picks is gonna be in the 20s and 30s. It's hard to get a quality these days, a quality quarterback. So they said, look, right now we better get him right now, and all the other needs we can get out of free agency, out of trades,
Yep.
and see what happens. Walk-ons, you never know.
Makes sense. Okay, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at that.
That's how I look at it.
Hey, I want to bring up something since Nelly. Did you see how now Quavo and Nelly just had 2 concerts. Nobody showed up. Now,
We
no.
were about to
No, we should talk about that. We should talk about that.
now they're saying for Quavo, they're saying Chris Brown about 80% of
I don't
this.
believe that. I don't believe that. But what I'm thinking is, and Johnny, you've been in the game for so long, and I know your opinion matters on this. I think people have spent so much money on so many concerts these last few years that they just tapped out. I mean, I've never seen so many concerts.
It's a lot. I will say that, but people pay for who they want to see.
Gotcha.
They pay for who they want to see because I just did a concert down in Greensboro.
Okay.
Out of all places, Greensboro, North Carolina, and they did over 10,000 people.
Man, who'd you have?
Rob 49, Bossman D-Lo,
Who did?
Huncho, Jeezy, and Boosie.
That's a hell of that's a great lineup. You had the hottest young niggas, you had the hottest young men, and then you had some hot veterans with
Yeah.
hits. So that makes sense. But you know what I'm saying, like that, Nelly.
But you got to think though, because you saying Quavo showed himself, but you got Offset, who's a part of the Migos, that been killing these
He's
shows.
getting Cardi fans. He's getting Cardi fans. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he's getting Cardi fans.
Cause Cardi been kind of cold. She ain't
No,
really,
but the fact that that's why
she been kind of cold now.
when you look at celebrities and you see the hookups, they want you to hook up with certain celebrities because that really brings your
I
brand
get that,
up.
but-
It really brought Offset up.
But
If
Offset been putting in work,
But if
though.
Offset wasn't married to Cardi,
You don't think he'll still be doing the numbers he doing?
No, it'll be the same thing as Quavo because songs-wise, as far as them dropping solo joints, it's not like they got future songs and type
Yeah.
of songs right now. They have good songs solo, but to me, their group catalog is so amazing that they could still do it off of that solo. But when you look at them individually, Offset has all of Cardi's fans, and she has a big fan base. The husband, they have kids. There's a lot of controversy and stories over there. Quavo kind of, with the chick Sweetie, but how do you pronounce her name, by the way? Is it Saweetie or Sweet? How do you?
I just call her Sweetie. I call her Sweetie.
I say Saweetie and Sweetie and.
Now, one of my people off the IG said, it's sad to say, but Quavo cannot carry a show on his own. He needs to give up the idea of a solo artistry and try to get back with Offset. What you think about that?
Man, if they, with Takeoff gone, the Migos just ain't gonna be the same with them.
I agree with you with that because he was a very important part to the group, even though he was one of the quietest, but he was a very important.
That's the
part
most
of
important one because sometimes the quietest one is the mysterious one is the one, and he really was killing verses. Like
Yeah.
people don't understand.
Yeah, when Takeoff come on that verse, boy, he coming.
He coming.
You know what I'm saying? He definitely give
Rest
you
in peace to
something.
Takeoff.
Definitely give
man.
you something.
What about Nelly? As far as free show, nobody showed up. What's?
I mean, I haven't really just heard any just good music coming from Nelly, so I think Nelly has a certain fan base that he needs to just stick to as far as when he doing his show that really accommodates his catalog and his music. But as far as when you trying to cater it to, as far as just straight urban side, I don't think it's gonna work for him.
Gotcha.
Because it's just too much. The way the industry is now and the way that the music is going and flowing is too different.
I got you.
It's just too different. This new generation now, they ain't trying to hear none of that.
Free. He gave a free concert too. That shit was free. That was free.
That's
so,
crazy.
yeah.
That's crazy when you give a free concert and you still can't do it. That's when you know.
And got a baby on the way.
Yeah. It's tough. But
All
he's
this
good. Nelly sold a piece of catalog. He
Man,
good.
Nelly's straight for life,
Yeah.
and he got hits, and he's a legend in St. Louis. Salute to Nelly. I just wanted y'all's take on it because
Yeah.
I'm trying to see is this going to be like a recurring theme where a lot of artists are going to be trying to do these big venue shows, and you're going to see
I think you have to really be careful.
you have to scale down.
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to also just know the environment and where you at. And it's so many pieces because I book for so many different individuals, and the ones that be winning, it's like it just be structured a certain way.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Got
It be
you.
structured a certain way from the marketing to everything.
Got you.
Don't be the ones to win, but the people, you got people out here who just got money, thinking they just, because they get a name that it's going to go, nah, you ain't finna win like that.
Right.
Like, you got to really know what you're doing and be on top of your game if you're trying to make money with this.
Got you.
But right now, we about to get ready to go into a break. I got my man Superstar that is you ready to crank it up, Superstar? Because this
Man, I'm
one of
ready
them
to roll.
days we need to take it up.
I'm ready to
You know what I'm saying?
roll.
I got my man BENZINO in the building.
Oh.
Y'all just don't understand, man. We got a legend, not just
Oh,
a
man.
legend,
Come on, man.
icon.
Well
This man had done everything. This man was an artist. Man used to own the Source. This man has been on TV. I mean, what haven't you done?
The first time I came to Atlanta, you showed me big love. You got me a feature with Shorty Low. Long
Yeah,
live,
I
man.
remember
Rest in
that
peace.
too, man.
Yeah, man. So
yeah,
I really appreciate
remember that.
Word.
But yeah, man, when we come back, we're about to really get into this interview. You know, it's been a minute since we sat
Right.
down.
You remember the last time I seen you was we did the movie?
Yeah.
And I had to burn it to you.
Exactly.
In the movie,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
Birds of a Feather movie.
Exactly.
That's right.
So, you know, we got a lot to catch up from. But, man, I got to let my man Superstar, you know what I'm saying, take us there one time. Let's go on and crank this thing up, Superstar. Make sure y'all download the app right now.
101 TKO
Yeah. We back. Live in the building. 101 TKO Radio. If you have not downloaded the app, make sure get your phone out. Download the app right now. Droids, Apple, everywhere. Roku. You can listen live from 365 Live. All of that. We on YouTube, Facebook. You just got to download the app. It's real simple. 101 TKO Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube page and our Facebook. Leave us a message on the wall. Let us know what y'all thinking, that y'all rocking with us. But right now, I got my man BENZINO in the building.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all give it up for my man BENZINO.
Yes, man. I appreciate
Man, it's a pleasure, man. You know what I'm saying?
Mine.
I always enjoy talking with you because we have great conversation.
Yeah.
It's so much, you know what I'm saying, history, so many gems that you drop and leave,
Appreciate
man.
it. Yeah.
And you know, I just want to give you your flowers.
It's a blessing.
You know what I'm saying? I want to give you your flowers because
Blessing.
you've been in this game for a minute, and before I actually met you, I knew about you. I had seen you. I had watched you being on, you know what I'm saying, the different award show when y'all were doing the Source Award.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? We had the magazine and everything.
Yeah.
And then when I finally met you, when you came and you got that verse, you know what I'm saying?
That was like the first time.
Yes.
That was like one of the, when I came to Atlanta all them years ago, was to come just chill with Stevie for 2 weeks. And I ended up moving here. And I've been living here almost 10 years now. I had a baby born here, had a son born here. So it's
Yeah.
crazy. But you was one of the first ones that I connected with
Yeah.
as far as within the Atlanta industry scene. You know what I'm saying? And, we did the track with Low because I remember when that, hello. I was so, man, when I came to Atlanta, I heard that. I was like, oh my God, who is this? This is the first time I heard Low. I didn't know the history.
Yeah.
And then Dave had got contact with you, man,
Yeah.
and the rest was history, man. And we really
Yeah.
appreciated it because
Yeah.
that was big for me.
Yeah.
That was big.
So for the people, who don't, because, we got a lot of youngins now. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole new generation. Well, just break down because you got a lot, you know what I'm saying, to be proud about. You have a lot of accomplishments. You have a lot of accolades. But just let these people know about BENZINO. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't just a regular person, man.
Oh man, listen, man. I'm from the mud like everybody else, and grew up in Boston. Was in them streets, was in the trenches, and got into hip hop at a very early age. All my father's side of the family lived in New York, so I'd be getting shipped back and forth. And I probably was around 11, 12 years old when my uncle in New York taught me how to scratch. And
Hold
Tubi.
on, did you say scratch?
Yeah, Tubi, real. Like I was a DJ first.
did not know that.
Yeah. My DJ name was Rock, Shock, and Ray Dog. And
Ooh.
and so back in the day with turntables, see, people don't really understand. Like when they talk 50 years of hip hop, they really kind of negate 10 of those years. They really only kind of take you to like when all these celebrations really only take you probably to like Sugar Hill Gang. You know what I'm saying? Which was like 79, 80, but hip hop, if it was 50 years old in 2023, means it went back to 73. In 73, the biggest music at the time was disco. Okay.
Okay.
Disco, as far
That's
as
right.
as far as
That's
black
right.
music. And now what New York DJs was doing was taking the disco songs and not just disco, but pop music and a lot of different genres of music, rock and everything. But where they would find the drummer would have maybe a minute, a breakdown in the song where it would just be the drummer or the bass player, and they would just keep that going. And in order, because the break would only be about, let's say, 20 seconds. The DJ would just keep smidging it back and forth without losing the beat. So before rap even came to hip hop, it was about the DJ strictly from say 73 to maybe 76 maybe. For the first 3 years of hip hop in its inception, it really was only about the DJ.
Y'all need to pay attention because these are gems.
No, it's true.
I'm learning something myself. I didn't know that.
And MCing was just the master of ceremony, meaning they necessarily wasn't rapping. They'd be the DJ. And, okay, y'all, we see y'all over there. And, yeah, come on, man, we see y'all. Just a lot of talking, not necessarily rapping. As time went on, hip-hop went on. Also, when Kool Herc came from Jamaica. So Jamaicans had been coming to the parks with big sound systems anyways. And so Kool Herc would get the beat, and he'd be in the parks, and that's what kind of formulated hip hop. Then once the MCs would start rapping with the DJ, then that's what just blew it out the water.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that took place around 77. A lot of the Crash Crew, Spoonie G, a lot of the
You know what I'm saying? Don't forget about Curtis Blow.
Starsky, Curtis Blow, Love Bud, a lot of these guys that did, Sugar Hill Records was very, very instrumental in hip hop because they kind of brought to the forefront all the rappers that were in the street and kind of brought it to the table where they brought it to the forefront of America. Rapper's Delight was just Good Times. That was just, they just brought a band in and just did Good Times over. Yeah. Now, Good Times came from Chic. Remember the group Chic? Yeah. And Nile Rodgers was the bass player. So, all these, I'm a hip hop historian. So,
I see.
Yeah, man, yeah.
You're
so
teaching me right now. I'm paying attention.
No, it's true. Yeah. So, once, then you had your break dancing, you had your graffiti, and of course the fashion. And those were the elements of hip hop that once it got to the 80s, everybody started, you started getting your females and you started getting like your rap groups, the Funky 4+1, Treacherous 3. And then, when Def Jam came in with Run DMC and the Fat Boys and LL Cool J. Yes. I mean, these, was the inception of hip hop. So, 50 years, I want to make sure that everybody knows that it just didn't really kind of start from like 1980 or 79. It really started from 73 and it started with the DJ. So I started DJing. Yeah.
Superstar, you hear that?
Man, that's a nice history lesson right there for you, man.
Did you know that, Superstar?
I know a little bit of it.
Okay.
I didn't know about, the 73 to 76 being strictly about the DJs, everything like that. That's dope.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these guys don't get these, they don't bring these guys up, a lot of these DJs. And I'm saying if you're going to do 50 years, then make sure you bring it back to the inception these people know, because a lot of that, I was, me and my man 2 Times, my DJ for over all the years with RSO and everything, we would sit back and just listen to just try to find the breaks of every record, and then he would cut it up. The difference with now and back then is, if you was in the park and a DJ would get on, that would be they would play music all day in the park, and then the night would come, and then it was time for the MCs to grab the mic. That was a special moment. If you wasn't dope, you wouldn't even dare go over to the DJ turntable, to the tables. You wouldn't even. You would sit and watch and wait till you got dope to even try to go over there. You know what I'm saying? The difference now is everybody and anybody tries to rap now. So that's the difference. Back then, you really had to be seasoned and pay your dues to get on that mic.
So let me ask you a question. Do you feel like hip hop has been watered down now?
Yes. Only because of social media. See, hip-hop was always the lead, the biggest influence, and everybody followed it. Now social media is leading hip-hop. And to me, that's what I'm afraid, is that's the negative about social media, because it's more about the personality than it is really about the actual amazing rapper. And then when people, if you want to rap, you see the Kendricks, the J. Coles, the Drakes, all the amazing lyricists, they all put in work to be that way. You just can't get to that level of hip hop and just be, okay, let me just try it, and then I'll try it 1 week, and then I'll go to the studio one day, and then another 3 months I'll do it again. Like, no. You got to really put work in. And I'm afraid nowadays people it's the personality first, it's the look. They could do any type of dance or whatever, and it's not necessarily the talent. We're not necessarily seeing the best talent, I think, because of social media. But the flip side is we also are seeing a lot of amazing talent, but I just think that it makes it too easy, and I think a lot of it is watered down.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Let me ask you a question. Let's go back some years. You actually went to college.
No. I never went to college. Ever.
So, because I
barely graduated from high school.
I read so they said that's where you had met Dave at.
No. Dave went to Harvard. Yeah. See, I was from Four Corners, so Four Corners was where everybody, that's why I did my dirt for all them years. And Four Corners is Harvard, Washington, and Bowdoin. So Dave went to Harvard University. I grew up and came up from Harvard Street. So it's a difference.
Maybe we were looking at that wrong. Maybe we were saying Harvard
Hey,
Street.
Nelly, it's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? But Dave went to Harvard. Met him in '87. I had a group called the Almighty RSO in Boston. It was a pretty popular, rap street group, gangster rap. We was heavily influenced by a lot of the West Coast stuff, although we was influenced by New York, but heavily influenced by what NWA and a lot of the West Coast stuff we was doing.
Did you ever get a chance to meet like Cube and
We got signed. So listen to this. This is the stories. It's true story. So we had a deal on Tommy Boy Records, our first deal called One in the Chamber. Yeah, that was famous with Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, Raheem of Wu-Tang started on Tommy Boy. They was an independent label out of New York, owned by a guy named Tom Silverman, and they specialized. They was one of the, not one of the first, but they was, in that era of when labels was first popping up and they was giving rappers deals. So we got a single deal, and that was big for us out of Boston. Put a song out called One in the Chamber. In Boston around that time, guys in our hoods were getting murdered by police like crazy. And you know how now if somebody gets murdered by police, there's CNN coverage. They just was getting over with it, and it happened all the time. No marches, nobody coming in. It just was happening. So we made a song called One in the Chamber. That was a song that we got the deal. I sampled me 2 times, JB, the Hangman 3. We did our own beats. We sampled a sample called Mysterious Vibes from the Blackbirds. And it's pretty dope. And the song was about Christopher Rogers, 17-year-old. He had got shot under a car by 2 policemen. Got shot like a bunch of times by 2. He was under a car hiding. They went under the car and shot him like a bunch of times, killed him. Then this was in the same year, months from each other. Nathaniel Lackland got shot in Jamaica Plain Projects twice in the back of the head. Now, the police never got on trial. They never got in trouble. The crazy thing is that they took my page down again, but Nathaniel Lackland's son had DM'd me from jail. Either he DM'd me or he hit me on Facebook, but Messenger, but I got a message from him, and he was like, yo, I just want to thank you because my pops was Nathaniel Lackland, and this was maybe about a couple of months ago, blew me away. I said, oh, man, this was the guy, now, One in the Chamber had to be like 1988, so this is his son. He was in jail. He said he's trying to, get out or whatever, and he was saying, thanking me about bringing, awareness to what happened to his pops, but that just blew me away. We got dropped because the Boston police sued us. That was around the time that Ice-T put out Cop Killer. So we lost our deal, and Tom never told us. We had to find out through the newspaper. The song was doing really well, and we was about to do a video, and they dropped us because the police sued us because they was saying that we was made a song about violence against police. Now, we lose our deal. Queen Latifah signed us to Flavor Unit. We had a single deal over there. Shout out to Shakim and everybody over there. That didn't last. Steve Stout signed us to RCA. Had like an EP deal, but Eazy-E had contacted Dave on Ruthless Records, because remind you, we had the Source at this time, and Eazy was getting ads out the Source, and he was getting coverage, and he says he wanted to meet with us because he was with that controversial type stuff, So we met Eazy. I met him at the Source office first. He was with 2 of the Samoan bodyguards. If you've seen the movie, you know that when he was going through that stuff with Sugar, he had the Samoan, the Booyah tribe, those guys. You know what I'm saying? The big guys.
The big ones.
Yeah. So he was there with them, and this guy that I didn't know who he was back then, but after watching the movie now I understood, his name was Mike Klein. Now at that time, Jerry Heller was still Eazy's manager. Jerry Heller was Jewish. In the movie, they mentioned that Jerry Heller got somebody from the Jewish Defense League. Now these guys are usually ex-army guys, like what the CIA would be for the United States. That's what they was for the Jewish, for Israel. So I remember the guy. The guy had, his name was Mike Klein, or this is what they introduced him. The guy had a ponytail, kind of tall, mind you, like Steven Seagal, and he had a trench coat. Now we in the Source office. He got like a leather trench coat, and he's looking around, and then you could see the puff coming. So he had like a little mini Mac or something that he was holding in there, and I didn't know this back then. But when I watched the movie, I was like, oh man. So Eazy said he liked our stuff. We had another meet with him the next day. This time just me. I went up there at the Regal Hotel. It was me, Mike, the Booyah Tribe guys must have been in the room. We was at eating dinner, and he says he's gonna sign us, give us our first album deal. Now we're going crazy because we from Boston. We getting ready to sign a Ruthless Records. This is like a dream to us. Like Eazy was like God to us at that time. So he ends up going back. Now I remember this. I remember him coughing a few times. You know what I'm saying? Right? he had on the softball jacket. The softball jacket, it was cold. It was wintertime. So I remember him coughing. It wasn't nothing. Boom, okay. He went in the hospital, and our contracts were being negotiated. It was for $175,000. It was an album deal. It was going to be signed for like 5 years. Of course, they have the rights to drop you if you don't sell no records, but that was the deal, 5 years. 100 was our first album deal. And he went to see the Sinai, and he said that he had a cold, right? So I talked to him a couple of times. I said, look, we just made a new song. I'm going to send you the cassette. There wasn't no email back then. So we had a,
that's crazy.
You know what I'm
cassette.
saying? Yeah, So I sent him because he had a box in the hospital. He said he got a box in the hospital. He's listening to music. We made a song called There'll Be Some, and we sampled, I remember sampling, I think, So Rough, So Tough by Roger and something by the Parliament Funkadelic. It might have been Aqua Boogie. Long story short, that's the type of stuff that they was doing in L.A., okay? Like, they was sampling heavy on Roger, more bouncing, heavy on George Clinton. Sent him the song. He loved the song. A week went by. Now, this time when I talked to him, his voice is getting like, and he's like, he had bronchitis. He said that he had bronchitis, and everything's cool, and everything. Once he gets out, all he had to do was sign it. The contracts were done.
I see where this going.
It was done. So Tom Wally was our lawyer. Tom Wally is the lawyer for Tupac's estate right now. But Tom Wally was our lawyer. We a couple of weeks of negotiation. Easy's wife and Yellow Boy had signed Bone Thugs, and Easy was signing RSO. 2 days after, I get a call from Dave, said that Easy died of AIDS.
Wow.
And I remember I was in a sub shop. I remember everything because this was a moment in my life I'll never forget. We was in a sub shop called Nicholas Sub in Boston. It's like in Rosendale. And I was with my man Hearst. Shout out to Hearst. And I was sick. I couldn't eat. I don't know if I even went outside and threw up. I just remember so much crazy stuff had been happening to our group. A couple of guys that got killed. I've been going through a bunch of street stuff. I just remember locking myself in the room for like 3 days, man. It didn't come out because his wife didn't honor the deal. You know what I'm saying? She was like, yeah, she just signed Bone Thugs. And when I see the members of Bone Thugs, they remember that because we was being signed at the same time.
Wow.
We was going to be the new Ruthless. You know what I'm saying? And we ended up losing the deal, and the rest was history, man. Yeah.
Wow. Let me ask you a question. Going through all the stuff you were going through with your group, seeing different people get killed, different things happening, you know, you ducking and dodging out here from being locked up or being a victim yourself or being shot by the police.
A few times.
What got you through these moments, these different situations? And was it ever a time you say, you know what, I may need to do something different because I don't know if I'm going to survive going through this.
That's all I did. All I ever did was street stuff. You know, my father, you know, I was in the streets at a very early age. My father was a real street guy, and he was dealing with the mob in Boston. And, you know, 12, 13, I was in those streets, and I was, you know, doing my thing. Boston was a gang town. Like I remember after Colors coming out, Boston just flipped out. And, you know, Black Boston is such a small area that if you got beef with somebody, you know, so everybody been shot, you know, a lot of killings. A lot of people don't know that about Boston.
I was just about to say, I mean, I'm listening to you talking, I'm like, I didn't even think that Boston was even on something like that.
We was averaging like 120 murders a year, and we're talking like in maybe a 15, 20 mile radius of what Black Boston is from Boston. So, you know, with me, it was, and it may sound cliche as people say this, but that was my life. Like I didn't see, as I'm thinking here now, and I'm a lot older, a lot mature, but it just was a part of it. Anything that, like, so many guys died around me, so many guys died, my brother, so many guys were getting killed and everything, to where is that it just really became normal. So anything that I went through, it just was, okay, if I'm not dead, tomorrow's another day and I got to get back out there and we got to keep going. I mean, it just was like that. It was so many shootouts and so many wars and so many killings and so many, you know, court and jail. It was just, with our group, it was a big crew of guys. You know, I had a big crew of guys. And, you know, and as I'm thinking about it now, it just really was normal. I never thought of it like, oh, man, I need to be doing it. It just was like, this is all we ever did. And if you ain't dead, well, you know what I'm saying, then we stitch you up and we're going to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like what, as I'm thinking now, that must have been the thought, because I never ever thought about doing anything else but sell drugs, gangbang and hip hop. That was my life. All my life.
So I'm gonna go to a commercial break, then I'm gonna come back.
Cool.
It may get a little lengthy when I ask you this question.
No. I'm ready for everything.
But we gonna go into a quick commercial break. 101 TKO Radio. I need y'all to download the app right now. If you're not tuned in, you need to be tuned in because there's some real stuff up here. So tune in right now. 101 TKO Radio. Download the app. Superstar, take us out. Give us something good, baby.
Superstar.
From the south side to the east side and all around the globe, DJ Superstar.
Yeah, we back live in effect. My boy Zeno in the building. My man Superstar, as usual, cutting up over there. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this man right there.
Man, he
that
nice,
man
man.
be going
You got
crazy
the right
on there.
one. You got the right one, John.
Listen, man, this man be going crazy. Superstar,
What's up, Johnny?
where you get that name from? How you come with Superstar? Cause you
Man.
definitely Superstar.
It's so funny you asked me that. So before I started DJing, man, I was producing. So
I ain't know that.
Yeah. So in North Carolina, started in college, man, just messing around with the beats. Few guys in the studio, and at first, my name was Superstar Beats. You know what I'm saying? And I just found a love for the music, bro. You know, I picked up a laptop, man. Picked up some speakers. Studied a lot of the older DJs like Cool Herc, man, Jazzy Jeff, a lot of the legends.
Yeah.
That really understood
Legends.
what it is to be a DJ. You know what I'm saying? Not just pushing buttons, really understanding music. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I started with the house parties in college. Started with you know, just playing off a laptop at first.
Jazzy Jeff was one of the dopest live DJs you could
Yeah.
ever see. I mean, Fresh Prince was dope, but
Yeah.
the fact that, see, back then, the DJ really was a big part of everything. I'm kind of disappointed how, you know, with artists, that they kind of phase the DJ out.
They do.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and even in music, I used to love hearing scratching and like
Yeah.
when they would scratch certain
Yeah.
things, and like I love that, and I don't know why. We need more of that.
Yeah.
So you producers out there, man, listen, man, because listen, you're the ones Jazzy Jeff, Houdini's DJ, Grandmaster, oh man, Grandmaster D.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, just they used to do so many things. You know what I'm saying, with turntables. When you would go see a concert, you would see a concert with the DJ doing his thing.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it ain't like that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Zeno.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to be a rapper? Like, when did it hit you that this is what I want to do?
I just to evolve how when I got in hip hop and just as the DJ, and then everything about it, man. Like, you know, I mean, if I could graffiti, I would have did that. If I could break dance, I would have did that. For everything about it, because at that time, you know, it really wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, again, we had disco and R&B, but it wasn't a movement. It wasn't physical. You know what I'm saying? Like, you listened to it, but you didn't feel a part of it. Hip hop made you a part of a movement. It made you a part of something. And I wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to be a rapper. Like, the guys that I was seeing DJs and rapping, they was like superheroes to me. Like, oh man, I got to be a part of that.
Did you ever feel or say to yourself, "This is my way out of the hood, out of the streets"?
Nah, I was selling so many drugs and I was getting so much money in the streets that was my way. This was just something that, man, yeah, like the girls, like, you know what I'm saying? I can get the girls, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, you know, I didn't start thinking that, you know, even I was getting so much money in the streets that I guess.
But you didn't ever say to yourself or think, what if I get caught?
No.
Or what if somebody, you know what I'm saying, rob or...
No, because that was just not just selling drugs, but house evasions, robbing people, like stealing cars, like every criminal act. Everybody, you know, and where I'm from, Four Corners, everybody had their lanes. So, you know what I'm saying, I was around all of them, and I ended up trying. My specialties, well, of course, was, you know, hand to hand. So, but I tried a little bit of everything, like probably everybody else did. And it's just that with hip hop and music, just made life good to where you didn't think about the dangers of things. Like, this was just a part of it. And, you know, I remember, you know, being in Four Corners, there was a sub shop up there, and, you know, there's Gallagher and Miss Pac-Man, the big games and stuff. It was, you know, that was, and then DJing at Ben's Lounge and Cortez, I was the DJ, and, you know, I remember spinning Caribbean Queen. Oh, the same dream in your heart is beat as one. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all.
But it wasn't never something that was on your conscience that, man, I'm killing my own people.
No, because even when crack, listen, I came from the era where when drugs came, we would try it. So, you know, I pretty much tried a lot of drugs. Heroin, I sniffed heroin. I didn't bang it, thank God. You know what I'm saying? A lot of my guys banged it, and a lot of my guys were wiped out. I could name over 100 guys from Boston I was, you know, known, close with, that are gone. drugs, murdered. So back then in the late 70s and even before crack came, there was a lot of pills like Quaaludes, Black Beauties, ecstasy. It wasn't necessarily like people wasn't on oxys and Percocets and stuff back then. Like it was just cocaine, heroin, and when crack came, it was like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of really turned the hood up hard. I mean, heroin was a situation where it'd be guys lined around the corner like a club. Wow. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Up in Grove Hall, before Corners, down at Lenox. I mean, so this was everyday life, and it just was so normal that you didn't think about what you were doing to your people. You didn't think about the dangers of it. You didn't think about going to jail. You just did it because that's what was around you. And
but was it accepted from your parents? Well, I know you said
my
your
mother definitely not.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to know.
My mother was with none of that. She was a hardworking Cape Verdean woman.
Did she ever say, "Son, you gotta stop"?
No, she listen. The reason why I'm living is because of my mother gave me a conscience. My father gave me my streets and my manhood.
Yeah.
My mother gave me my conscience, and if you don't have a conscience, then you're pretty much in trouble because you're gonna crash all the way. I grew up with guys that I mean some real cold-hearted. I grew up and I've done some things, but I wasn't like some of my guys that would really like crash out, cold-hearted. They're gonna go all the way, and they didn't have no conscience. They didn't grow up with the love from their mother for whatever reason, or their dad. And without that, when you don't grow up with that, you don't have a conscience. So when you're doing things, you might come to the ledge, but you ain't gonna jump off because you're like, man, what's my mother gonna think? What's my mother gonna think? I'm looking at her face. I know I'm gonna let her down, and that's what probably kept me living. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't jump off the ledge. I done got to the ledge many times, but I didn't jump all the way off because of my mother thinking like, man, I don't want to hurt her. I love her so much, and I was her only son, and I always thought about that. But you get out there. And I'm young, and my father had a reputation, so I was Tito's son, and then I started getting my own reputation. I was running with the Shower Posse, working under them. These Jamaican guys.
What was one of the? I mean, what was one of the when you was out there? What was one of the first things that really gave you like that name to where people start really respecting?
Well, my dad. I could say once people started knowing I was Tito's son, then the respect was there at a young age, because he had put in work. My dad, was with the Boston Italian mob, and he was one of their guys, and he wasn't a made man because he wasn't, Italian, but he was close with these guys, and when he went to jail, I had to go deal with these guys, and these are older guys. I'm growing up in Boston where it's really racist, and my view on white people is like they're racist and they're evil and they don't like black people. So coming up, that's my view on them, towards them. But then when I started dealing with my father, and I started dealing with some of these Italian guys and these Irish guys, these Jewish guys, these are all older men, and they really took years and years. We had a relationship where I was like their son, their nephew, and I really had a lot of respect and see how they moved, and I got to see white people in a different light. Now, though it might have been within a criminal situation, but these guys still had morals and codes and families. Now, though they're selling drugs, though they're killing people, and though this is going on, but the other side of them are things that are lost now, is code and morality and dignity. And I got to learn that, man, and it's made me the man who I am. I love my father to death. He's still living, and I can't thank him enough because, a lot of his stuff that he taught me helped me survive this jungle, and it's all I knew, and it's what he knew, and I don't judge him for it. I don't judge nobody for it. I know America put us in this predicament of, that we have to survive and feed our families, and at the end of the day, man, like Malcolm said, any means necessary, and we had to do what we had to do. I
can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that. Now, you have, how many kids you have?
I got 4 kids.
You got 4.
I got Ray is 30. Shout out to Chavo. Coy will be 27th, May 11th.
Mm-hmm.
Taj is 21, and Zeno is 8.
So, Have you had to experience any of your ways that you was doing back in the day? Have you?
And I also
seen
want to
any of
say
that
one
back
more
in
thing. My girl's son, he's like my son too. I want to mention him. He's 12, Samaj.
Okay.
So we've been together 3 years, and I've been kind of taking him under my wing. Is like when you get with your girl, and it was the first time that I've been in a relationship with shout out to my baby Ashley and her son, and that where I've taken that father role to him. I've never done that before, and I'm still growing as a person too. Like Zeno and him are like this, you know what I'm saying? So I could say 5 right now.
So, do you like if your kids say they wanted to, get in their life? What would be your answer to that?
Oh hell no, no. I was strict. I was strict on all of them. They didn't have to, because at that point when they was growing up, I mean, I had it at one time. I was really well off at one time. Made some mistakes. I got indicted. I went through a lot, and I lost a lot of what I had. But I don't want to say lose it, because you don't lose money, you spend it. People be like, you lost. I don't want to say that. I spent it, and I gave it away, and I helped people with it. And I didn't know about managing money. I was a hustler, and my mentality with that was, when I was out there doing my thing, whatever the profit was, I'm taking that off top, and I'm gonna go buy myself whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna give the plug his.
Yeah.
Sometimes I might come a little short or whatever, but I know I'm gonna get more. And there's another day I'm gonna be out there hustling, not 5, 6. I'm talking all day, all night. So I had a hell of a run with hustling, Source, TV, to where I'm a hustler, whatever it is. God's gonna put doors in front of everybody. It's gonna be up to you to recognize the doors, and then when you do go in the door, you gotta be prepared. It's not gonna be up to God for you to be prepared. The doors are gonna be there. You gotta recognize when they're open and where they're open, all right? Because they're not doors that you can see, physical doors. They're invisible doors. But you got to recognize that everybody gets a shot. It's up to you to be ready, and it's up to you to be the best person you can be, depending on what the opportunity is. And I always took advantage of mine.
Who idea was it to start the Source? Was it your idea or
Dave
Mays?
Mays. Dave Mays.
Okay.
Dave Mays. Yes.
And when he brought that to you, like, what did you say? Like,
It just happened. I met Dave. Dave had a radio show at Harvard. Harvard was playing classical. They had like a 10-mile radius with an antenna. But you know how like colleges have their own stations. Boston, we really don't have to this day, still don't have like a black hip-hop station to this day. Okay, and that's why Boston, it's hard for Boston people to make it, because people don't realize how big a radio station is for the community. Some North Carolina cities like Charlotte has like 4 or 5
Yeah, they do.
major stations.
Yeah, they
Atlanta,
do.
they got
Yeah.
like 4, 5, 6. It's big. It's not just music. They're in the community. It's about black people. We don't have that in Boston, and never had it. So we always had to go to college radio. And with college radio, they play everything from everywhere. Dave had 2 hours on a Saturday. My DJ 2 times was his DJ, and I would go up there and co-host when Dave would have to go home. And it's like because Dave was from DC.
yeah.
And he made a 1-page newsletter. And on that newsletter was KRS was like the first. It was like in black and white, like at the top left-hand corner. And then there'd be segments of like the top 5 of the week songs and what's going on with different artists, and that was it. Every week went by, it was 2 pages. A month went by, it was 5 pages. A couple of months after that, it was a black and white little small booklet with Slick Rick on it. After that, it was a color, and it just kept progressing and progressing. And you got to realize at that time there was Rolling Stone, and there was magazines for rock music. There was Right On and Word Up for R&B music, and like for like boy, like the Jacksons.
What made Dave so interested in the black culture coming from Harvard and then back in that
He's from
time?
DC.
That's right.
He's from
Yeah,
DC,
yeah.
and he grew up around black people.
Yeah.
DC's that's Chocolate City.
Exactly.
And he it's funny, he from DC, I'm from Boston, which is a white city. So
I know.
it was just
like
crazy.
yeah.
But when I look at me and Dave and what we've accomplished, God made us who we were, me being black and Latino and Dave being white, Jewish, and where he was from D.C. and where I was from Boston. He just put two guys together. And at the time with hip-hop, nobody was necessarily covering hip-hop the way these other magazines were. And Dave just got on it quick, and he hired some of his, he got partnered up with some of his other college buddies. It was 3 other guys. And they was his partners up until 94. I was just his friend. Like, he didn't want to go home for the summer, so I let him use my apartment. I had got locked up that summer, and I let him stay in my apartment. They would box up the magazines and ship the magazines out from there, but there wasn't really no money being made when the Source first came out. I was doing my street thing. I was getting more money than Dave. You know what I'm saying? But Dave went to Harvard. $60,000 a year to go to Harvard. But he came from a very humble. It's not like his parents were rich, and he would always say that to me, man. Like, it ain't like my parents were rich, man. Like, I was in the struggle too, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, man. But it was, it just was a time and a place and something that happened, and we was there 18 years together.
What was your greatest moment with the Source magazine?
Oh, man, there was a lot, but
what was the greatest moment?
Well, with me, I always wanted to be a rapper, not a magazine guy. And when I got with Dave and everything, it was like he had problems with his partners in 94, and he ended up buying them out and then fired the whole staff and then offered me 50-50 partnership. At that time, I was getting money. I'm like, yeah, whatever, cool. We didn't even sign paperwork.
Wow.
I just was like, come on, yeah, man, I'm your partner. You know what I'm saying? Because, but that time now, he's starting to get a little bit of money. The ads are like $5,000 a page,
Yeah.
$3,000 a page. It wasn't that expensive. And you know what I'm saying? He's in New York, and New York's kind of rough. So, I had a big crew at that time. So, at that time, if people want to be like, okay, well, Benzino was his muscle. At that time, I could say that because Dave wasn't like a street guy or anything. So if anybody messed with Dave, then they had to deal with me. And if they dealt with me, they had to deal with my crew. And it necessarily never had to get down to that, because the way I was in the streets, the way me and Dave's relationship and the Source that worked so great, that separated us from Vibe and XXL, was that I really was in the streets and really was going across the country dealing with the J Princes, the Suge Knight. I was dealing with the guy, the Irv guy, all the top guys, the Bird. I mean, everybody that was somebody, I'm in them streets dealing with them, while Dave is, he hired a bunch of college guys, and they're in the office and they're typing away and interviewing away and amazing photographers, great young people, but none of them was a street guy. And hip hop was from the streets. Hip hop was born out of the South Bronx. Now, and I say this and I emphasize this, if people understand what the South Bronx looked like and how poor the South Bronx was in the 70s, you wouldn't even believe it. I mean, Fort Apache, the South, I mean, it was bad. I mean, it was the worst place you can imagine in the world. Like, it was just, poverty was ridiculous in the way it looked. Like, it looked like bombs was dropped. And that's what hip-hop birthed out of, those guys in those streets. So that means a lot to me, because it's the street guy who is the last guy on the totem pole in America. It's the street guy. It's the black street guy. Anybody else is above him. When the Cubans come over, man, listen, look what the Cubans got in Miami. Look at what they got. Look at how they came over, and look how much what they got now. We still don't have. We didn't get our reparations. We still don't have a lot, and they still use us to feed their judicial system. So I'm that one street element in the Source that street guys could respect and made it what it was. And it just wasn't me. Of course, it was everybody. But Dave being from Harvard, me being from the street, was the perfect combination. And it took on our personalities, and I started being proud that I was with the Source. Now I'm like the chief brand officer, so I'm thinking of, like, the Source Awards was a lot to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That idea, because the Grammys wasn't giving us our props, and I was complaining about that. And shit, we're gonna do our own award show. We did 7-8 awards and didn't really profit until the very last one. We lost money just because we knew the vision and wanted to build it. And the Source Hip Hop Hits got a lot of money from Leo Cohen, gave me a $5 million check. That was the biggest check I've ever seen in my hand, and I negotiated that deal. So there was a lot of things as I took on more duties, and as I got next to Dave, that I was proud of doing that I've accomplished.
So, what was the breakup for the Source like?
Steve Stout had seen the .com thing at a very early time. They seen this .com thing way before on smartphones, when the computers looked like big boxes, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Big white boxes.
Yeah.
And they took out, Dave took out a loan for like $12 million at a very high percentage rate, because they believed that the .com was going to be the next thing, Source.com, and everything was going to be funneling through there. They was right, but they was 5 years too early. And they opened up an office on Fifth Avenue, Source.com. There was about 40, I remember when he first took me up there, it was a whole new staff of people with these big boxes. I don't know what, I didn't, this is the time where the games were the two things with the ping pong ball going back. Like, this is how far that goes. They had the vision, but they just was too early, 5-6 years too early, and it crashed. And we had to pay back like $30 million. Bob Johnson flew us out to D.C. and offered us $55 million in his office. It was me and Dave, and at that time we owed the bank 30. And I was like, man, taxes are gonna take half of it, and me and Dave could have walked away with like 6, 7, maybe about $5 million a piece. And I just was like, man, the valuation of the Source, what we seen it was at 80 million, and we felt like if we could get it to that 80 million. And how you evaluate companies is it's your EBITDA. It's 10 times your profit. So if your profit for 1 year, then that means that is $1 million. That means that your company is worth 10. That's how the evaluation is. So, we was profiting at that time between 4 and 7 million, or give or take, however somebody's seen it. So he offered us 55. He said, "Look, I'm not even gonna negotiate." And Bob was slick. Bob's the guy that sold BET for $3 billion. Write it down on a piece. He ripped a little piece of paper. He wrote it down. He says, "I'm gonna walk out when I come in. See, it's gonna be yes or no." He didn't want to hear no, negotiate nothing. And then we had to walk. He didn't want us to stay on, and that was big for us. We didn't, if he would have said, "Listen, I want to buy it. You guys stay on for a few years and run it," but he said, "Y'all gotta go." And we opened up the little piece of paper, and it was 55 million. And I was like, we started like calculating in our head. I'll never forget it. And then we told Bob no, turned down $55 million.
Wow. On that note, we're gonna go to a commercial break right quick.
I got one question for you.
What you got?
The 1995, Source Awards. You know what I'm saying?
That's
I think we should come back for that, because I got some information for that for you.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna go to a quick commercial break. Before we go to our commercial break, listen. Download the app right now, 101 TKO Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Subscribe to our Facebook. That's very important. Download the app right now. But Superstar about to take us into a break, and when we come back, we're gonna get back on that.
101 TKO Radio, knocking them out the box. DJ Superstar.
Constitutional Journal
Yeah. Superstar, you been on one today, man. You been man. I feel like I'm back in my 20s. Actually, I feel like I'm back in my teens. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what the music's supposed to do for you.
Okay.
That's
okay.
real talk.
Man.
That's
You
real
hear a
talk.
song and it take you back.
Okay.
Salute to all
I'll
the
take
DJs,
that.
the real
I'll take
DJs.
that. I'll take that. But Nelly, you had a question for Zeno.
Yeah, since we were talking about the the Source Awards, if you can go back to the 1995 Source Awards, because definitely for the South, that's really I think catapult and made a lot of people realize what the South was bringing to the table. But then also, if you could speak on not only that, but then speak on the tension, because during that time that was the East Coast versus West Coast beef and everything.
Two amazing questions, great observation. That night definitely changed hip hop forever. Prior to that night, we had that was the second Source Awards. We did the '94 one. Bernie Mac hosted it. Rest in peace, Bernie Mac.
Man.
Yeah, we did it at the Madison Square Garden, both '94 and '95. The '94 one is when Tupac came and had got on the mic when Q-Tip was. I got a chance to speak to Q-Tip about that, because I had told the story about the '94 one when I thought that when Pac had just came, he wasn't scheduled to be on. He just came and just went on stage. Our sound man must have took over our sound man and went up on stage and did Out on Bail with all the Outlaws. And
Wow.
I remember Q-Tip had received his award, and while he was giving the speech, Pac just went on stage and just. So when I told the story, I said, yeah, they snatched the mic from Q-Tip, and when they came back, I remember, rest in peace, Chris Lighty was with them, because that was their manager, and rest in peace to Phife Dawg. The guys that was on stage with Tupac, rest in peace to Fatal, rest in peace to Psych, rest in peace to, there was a lot of guys that was in that moment aren't even here right now, and that's why that moment was so kind of like classic, because, when I finally got to talk to Q-Tip. I've never in my life had a conversation with Q-Tip, and I know how huge and how much of a legend Q-Tip is.
Yeah.
Much respect, but he contacted somebody, says, yo, I need to talk to Zeno, because I think he might have felt a certain way the way I told the story. And when he got on the phone with me, he said, look, what you didn't know was after that we was at a spot and we had ran into Tupac, because people, Q-Tip was from Queens, so he had some Queens guys, running with him, and Q-Tip never came across as no gangster rapper, none of that. But he let it be known, like, Zeno, listen, we had some guys and we approached Tupac after that. I was like, oh man. And I listened to him, man, and he was really, really gracious in the way he spoke. It wasn't like no beef or he was upset. He just wanted me to know from his perspective what had happened. And I was grateful for that, so I want to shout him out. But that night was crazy because Suge must have bought about 75 plane tickets to fly guys out there. 50 to 75 people. Whew. Not just counting on stage there was about, because remember they spent some thousands, like maybe 30, 40, 50,000 on their set. They had made these jails that would come out, and it was all, if y'all remember it was everybody in death row. Everybody. Dog Pound was in one cell, Snoop was in one cell, Dre was in one cell, DJ Quick was in one cell. It went on and on and on. And Dre had Death Row at this point had a lot of stuff on lock.
Yeah.
And of course, this was just the beginning of the bad boy type. It really was. When people say East Coast, West Coast, it really wasn't East Coast, West Coast. It really was bad boy.
Death Row, right?
Like, I always get kind of, what I'm saying? When people say East Coast, West Coast, do you realize how many people and how many rappers is on the East Coast and West Coast at that time that had nothing to do with that? And that was a Tupac, Biggie, Bad Boy, Death Row thing. Now, of course, there are going to be some guys who ain't with Death Row who's going to hop on that because they are on the West Coast. The same thing with Bad Boy. But that night was special because, first of all, we didn't have a lot of security. There was a couple of, I think, uniformed police officers, You know, our security budget wasn't that big. We had the Nation of Islam, some of them, the FOI as ushers. So we really didn't have a huge security force. And this was our second time, so production-wise, we're still getting our feet wet. But we knew that there was going to be...
I was gonna ask you, did you?
We knew. I mean, listen. Me and my guys was in there, and I was strapped up. We didn't have to get searched. That was the beauty of it. I was strapped. I had a few of my guys from Boston strapped, and we was there. I was backstage. I was front stage. I was looking because I was a fan of most of them anyway. So I wanted to see the performances and stuff. So, people think that it was just like Suge did buy a lot of seats, and he bought it like smack dab in the middle. Like, I mean, in the front row middle, there was many seats of LA guys. And, you know, Wu-Tang Clan, Nas, I mean, there was deep. You know, New York was deep there. This was a major thing for New York. And, you know, immediately I thought something was going to happen. I'm just waiting for it, really. It wasn't a matter of if to me. It was going to be when. When Suge went up there and said what he said, I said, man, look at this. You know, some of me was upset about what he said because I'm like, man, this is getting ready.
It's going
to get ugly. But then some of me had that hip hop, and I got goosebumps. Like, ooh, like some of me was a fan to where I'm looking at it from a fan's perspective. But then I got to remember this is my magazine and my award show, and it's like I was caught between two of it. So when after Suge said what he said, people, I'm looking in the crowd and a lot of dudes, a lot of rappers, a lot of guys were not appreciative of that. But he directed it towards Diddy. So again, it's directed towards Bad Boy, not necessarily New York artists. And immediately Snoop got on after him, which was, I always say to me, what really diffused is when Snoop grabbed the mic and was like, man, listen, we know who we are. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? New York in the house, East Coast in the house. Y'all ain't got love for Snoop and Dr. Dre. In other words, listen, we respect y'all. We got love for y'all. We know where it came from, but we here too. That's how I took it. And I think that's how a lot of other New York guys took it, because I'm telling you, at that particular moment, it could have went down. And I'm sure there was a couple of guys in there with knives and guns. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you always find a way to get it in there. So, listen, man, you know, the grace of God, nothing happened that night. But it was scary, and it just wasn't with them. Like I told you when we was talking, Wu-Tang Clan had a situation with Biggie and them, because at that time, Biggie had put his baby picture on the cover, and they thought it was a slight to Nas doing it. Like Nas had already did it, and they represented Queens. So they kind of there was some tension there. There was Ice Cube, and for some reason Bone Thugs and Harmony had some tension because Ice Cube was dissing Easy and Bone didn't like that. There was a lot, people don't know that there was a lot of tension with a lot of different. What I want everybody to realize, this was the first time, there's no internet, the first time that these big rappers at the time seen each other as groups. And not just as groups, they got all their fellow guys with them from the block there. So, you know, everybody was with their crew, and that's what made the Source special. The Grammys couldn't hold no award show like that. No way, no how, because they're not going to let all these black guys in there like that. It's not even going to happen. Part of what I understood, and I made Dave understand, was that this is going to happen. We have to let them in with their crew. And my theory was, if you show them respect, you show them love, you give them good seats, you know what I'm saying, you make sure that if even if they don't win, people get nominated, then that's what's going to keep everybody at bay and everybody to respect, because they don't want to screw it up. If Nas is there with his Queensbridge guys, he's going to keep them chill, because he's getting ready to get nominated for an award, and he don't want them to mess that up. So that was my theory. If you play to the, I wouldn't say egos, but to the accomplishments and success of the rappers, then they'll keep their guys. Especially at this moment. This is a moment where we're honoring you, because the Grammys sure ain't doing it. So don't mess this up. And I think that had something to do with us getting out there without anybody getting shot, stabbed, or killed that night.
So let me ask you a question. Do you feel like the Source could ever just come back and be back out there?
I mean, you know, I think.
Would you do it again?
Well, I mean, somebody else owns the Source now, and with the internet and blogs and everything, it's just, everything's changed. You know, the whole thing of there's no really hip hop journalism anymore. I think social media was the death of hip hop journalism, and now it's just quick reading and gossip and stuff to make you go, oh my goodness, and it just isn't the same anymore. Like Source, we had like real journalists to write like 9 pages of stories, like, you know, like hundreds of words, you know what I'm saying? And the photography was amazing, you know what I'm saying? You know, rest in peace to the great Chi Modu, Johnny Nuni. I mean, there's just so many guys that it's hard for me to start naming, because a lot of people from the Source came and went, but a lot of people that was at the Source went on to do amazing things in TV and radio right now, in movies. So, you know, it's just a different it's just a different time right now. And you know, with me, I think, and you know, I'm working on the '95 Source documentary right now. Me and my partner, Man Robinson, we've been working on it for 8 months. We have we're gonna bring you like working like a 2 1-hour special, 2 episodes, 3 episodes, and we really want to give you the in depth of what people were thinking. I've got interviews of big artists that were there that night that were giving stories that, and you know, so we plan on.
I can't wait to see that.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's like,
I can't wait to see. I'm gonna be glued to the TV.
Yeah, appreciate.
I'm gonna be glued to the TV. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. We're gonna jump around a little bit, and we're gonna be quick. I want to try to get all this in because I got so much that I need to ask, and I feel like time just flew by. I'm looking at my time.
You know, I can come back. Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bring it back because it's just so much I gotta get in.
It's part 1.
Yeah, this part 1 because it's so much that I ain't even get to this.
It's a lot. It's a lot, man.
But I want to talk about the Eminem situation.
Okay.
Tell us about, like, where did all this come from? And what is your gripe with Eminem? Like, give us the real school. Like,
well, I mean, well, you gotta listen, because it might get deep for you, because I grew up in Boston, in a very racist city. Boston to this day is still super racist. Like, you know, it's probably one of the most racist cities you can imagine. Even probably outdo some of the South racism. People don't realize that.
Wow, that's kind of deep.
Yeah, and that was my view of how I viewed white people. And I told you the only how I viewed them different was through my father's guys.
Yeah.
But when hip hop, to me, when crack and guns and you know, the culture really started killing each other and really started, like, I mean, kind of like, man, like, I mean, getting chaotic with each other. You know, we're not like in the 70s. We wasn't like that with each other. I'm old enough to remember that. We was poor, but we wasn't killing each other like that over the stuff that we're killing each other over. And when hip hop came, it gave the street guy, the struggle, the people in the struggle, a chance to get some money legally. Mm-hmm. You didn't have to sing. It was only people who could sing that was getting money in the music world. This is something where you don't have to sing. So this is big, and you could be a street guy, and you could come out of jail, and your friend can get a job, and independently you could sell clothes, and independently you can have a record company. These are only things that white people were doing. So this is something that is big for our culture. And with the Source magazine, we was representing it. We was the gatekeepers. So when Russell Simmons brought out the Beastie Boys, I didn't look at them as white rappers. I looked at them as rappers. And it was dope. Third Base, I looked at them as rappers. And it was dope. When Vanilla Ice came in, I was like, wait a minute. Hold up. Something ain't right here. Because see, in my theory, hip hop is what, the number one thing is what brought white people to black culture. To say, hey, yo, those street guys ain't that bad. Where's that before? They're not even messing. They don't want to be around you. They don't want their kids around you. Stay away from you, especially street guys. It's one thing if, you know, their mother's working with a black person at work and they're dealing with that. But no. Street guy, they didn't want to have nothing to do with it. So hip hop brought white people to the culture. Now when you're bringing white people, you're bringing their money and their dollars. And that's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful money-wise, and it's beautiful just spiritually connecting with another race of people. because that's what God wants. Without trying to be religious or anything, it's just common sense. Like if we're all gonna be on this world, it's better to get along and better to see what we have in common, better to see how we can get money together. So hip hop was doing that. The powers that be seen it, and they was getting a little nervous because little Johnny and Susie got too many black people on their walls. I mean, hip hop is really starting to influence these kids, and they don't want that. They don't. It's okay if you listen, but man, we don't want you dressing like them and talking like them. They're really kind of, because these kids are going to grow up to be the next leaders, and if they're influenced by a bunch of black people, well, then what's going to happen to us? See, white people are they think they think for history. They don't think for moment. They live for history. They don't live for moment. We live for the moment because of the predicament that we're in, because of what they put us in. But you got to understand, they live for their generations, and they don't want to lose this. And they've seen how hip hop is really being not just music; it's more than music. It's really influencing. So the powers that be say, well, you know what? There's parts of the United States that white people don't even deal with black people. Period. They never seen a black person. We take it for granted because you grow up in cities and there's white and black, and we see white people every day. But there's parts of this country right now where people do not see black people at all.
I did not know that part.
Oh, there's 250 million white people and about 30, 40 million of us. So we're going to be in the cities, but go to North Dakota or Montana or Wyoming, or there's places where you ain't going to see no black people. So hip hop is growing. It's now in pop culture. It's taking over everything. And now it's like, well, you know what? We need a white rapper that can get to those people who ain't dealing with black people at all. Yes, white people, in the cities deal with black people, cool, but we got to get a white rapper and make it to where is that he's white, and deal with them. And that's why I felt what they did with Eminem. Like when you start seeing Eminem, he started getting plays on MTV when Michael Jackson tried to get, they wouldn't even play Michael Jackson or nobody at one point. It was hard for a black man to get on MTV. Never mind a rapper.
Yeah.
So when the rappers are trying to get Eminem, as soon as he gets in it, they got him all over MTV. I thought that wasn't fair. I thought when they did the MTV Awards, I remember the first time he had the blonde hair, and they dyed his hair blonde, and he had the white T-shirt on. He came in with about another 40 other white guys with blonde hair, and they all stormed Radio City Music Hall for MTV Awards. They would have never did that for us. We could have never done that. And me, at that time, I was the owner of the Source. So I had the right to think that way. I had the right to feel that way. Eminem was in unsigned hype. So it's not like we didn't recognize him or his ability. It's just that, hold up, why is he getting all this special treatment? And there's legends who they're not even recognizing. And to the day he still does it. He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's so many legends who's not in the Rock and Roll, who done played their dudes who ain't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Eminem is. So it's not fair. And I recognize that. I recognize that. So me being a Source magazine, I didn't have to answer to nobody. At that time, Russell Simmons, Leo, everybody in hip hop had to answer to somebody. They all had a boss. I was the head honcho. I was the top of the food chain at the Source magazine. So how I felt was how it was going to be, and I felt like, listen, I think we don't need to be. We need to just kind of give him his props, but not go the way MTV and everybody else is giving it to him. We need to keep hip hop in the streets and black in the culture. And if he's a part of it, fine. But you got to be a part of us. You can't. We're not. If they planted you here so that you can be sexy to the white people around the world, and it's not about us anymore, well, I'm not with that. So when I'm battling him, it wasn't about lyrics. I don't elevate or masturbate. I don't rap like that. I rap about street stuff, and I listen to stuff that I can relate to. I'm not saying he's a whack artist. I just don't relate to his lane of rapping. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to be banging Eminem regardless. But the fact that I got to know the executives in this industry, because I was dealing with them advertising and dealing with them in meetings and everything, I seen how they tried to grow him. And I felt like if that's going to happen, then we're going to lose hip hop, and it's going to be theirs next. And more importantly, hundreds of years from now, when we're all dead and gone, they're going to be looking at history, and they're going to say, man, just like how we look at King Tut, there was many kings. But we look at King Tut because King Tut was flashy and all the gold, this and that. So we look at King. Well, they're gonna look at this time, say from 80 to maybe 2020, where black men was wearing jewelry and we got money and all this. And they're gonna be like, man, this time was great for the black man. What was this? We're talking 100 years from now, and they're gonna say hip hop, and then they're gonna look. Well, who sold the most records and who was? And then his face will come up, and then that'll just diminish anything that we ever did.
Wow. Woo.
They did the same thing with Jesus.
I didn't.
They did this. Listen, they just unearthed. They just found in Russia paintings where they're showing Jesus as a black man.
Yeah, I seen it.
All right. Well, common sense will tell you that.
But I already knew that before that even happened.
But common sense will tell you that Ethiopia had the first Bible and was the first ones with Christianity. So that'll tell you that in that area, Jesus had to be black. It was no Middle East. It was Africa. Okay, and in that area, Ethiopia and all that, Jerusalem. Listen, we know he had to be black. He surely wasn't blonde hair and blue eyes, but they had to give you that image because at that point Jesus had affected so many people they couldn't stop it. So they said, since we can't stop it, at least we're gonna give the image of. So we're going to get rid of all these paintings. Listen, the only reason Russia had them paintings is because the Mongols at that time, they wasn't into Christianity, Muslim, anything. So they said, you know what, we're not going to get rid of it. Hold them. But everybody, like all the white people in Europe, they burnt all that stuff and they got rid of it. It's the same thing. Living for history. They're saying, okay, Jesus was great. He was doing all these things. We want our sons and daughters and great to see that he's white. So whatever happens, as long as he's white, go ahead. Jesus is cool, but he's white. And that's what they've been. It's the same thing with Eminem, bro. And that's what it was. You know what I mean?
So is that ever going beef, or is that over with?
I mean, we've been trading. See, he has an ego, and them guys over there got an ego, and I really felt like, who the hell is he to be coming at me? And you know what I'm saying, I'm the great.
Have you ever had a conversation with?
Never. He would never. See, when you, and this goes for a lot of people, when you surround yourself for 10, 15, 20 years with just certain people, like bodyguards, and being around certain people, that becomes who you are. I don't even think Eminem would be comfortable sitting in a room with me or with real black men. When I seen...
So is it fair to say that you feel like Eminem is racist?
Listen, Eminem grew up in St. Paul's, Missouri, where there was no black people. He took on his mother, I'm sure his mother and father, his great-grandmother and great-grandfather wasn't around black people. Therefore, they was just about them. And I'm sure they wasn't about no black people. So when you're 1 to 11 years old, you're going to take on your mom's and your dad's vision of what they see the world. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is. You're not born a racist. You're taught. You know what I'm saying? You're influenced. So he didn't grow up around black people in Detroit. That's a myth. He grew up in St. Paul's, Minnesota.
That's crazy because the
Missouri,
vision that I see of Eminem, the only thing that I can see is the 8 Mile, Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Being around these black people.
He's from Warren, Michigan, and they were like when his mother moved, he was about 11 at that point. They went to Warren. That's not 8 Mile from Dexter, from where my guys YBI and them grew up. That's white people, black people. You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, Detroit is, it's not like they're rich white people. They're still in the struggle too, working white people. But it wasn't like black people. Black is black and white is white. They respect their way of life, respect our way of life. They knew that if we put him, Detroit is one of the greatest black cities that come to mind, because back in the day it was the black city to live in. You had work, Motown was crazy, music. It was the place to be if you was a black man in America.
There was money in Detroit.
Detroit was what Atlanta is now.
Yeah.
All right, bottom line.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they figured, hey, we're gonna stick him and say, put him a bunch, D12, put him a bunch of round of black guys, and then there it was. They calculated everything. And they did what they did.
About it like this.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people just think it's a rap beef. Listen, people don't realize. People don't realize. My first flight was with Pep. Shout out to Pep from YBI. Like, I met Pep. Pep brought a bunch of Detroit guys down to Boston. They was part of a crew called YBI, and you know, heavy with like on the heroin situation. And one of my first flights, well, you know, I was, man, 2020 was to Detroit with a bunch of bricks of dope, and you know, come back and forth to Boston working with Pep. You know what I'm saying? And back then I never said that because Pep didn't tell his story. Pep came out with his book. It's called Bound by Honor. Check it out. It's about the YBI story. But when he came out with the book, then I could say it. When I was beefing with Eminem, I could never say my affiliation with Detroit. But I've been going to Detroit since the 80s. I mean, you know, with the Cheddar Boys and Yacht and Street Lords, we would put them in the magazine. Like, you know, a lot of people.
Was they ever something with BML?
You know, me and Meech got cool. I'm gonna tell you the Meech story. So when I moved the Source Awards to Miami, Meech had came down there, and he wanted to meet me because I had beat my federal tax case. I took it to trial and won, and he was amazed by that. And I remember meeting him and Blue. They had rented a house, and I went and met them, and they just wanted to like pick my brain on how I beat my case. You know, I'm one of the only guys to beat a federal tax evasion case. I didn't really know what to say to him because I'm like, I knew police, because I had Club Zeno at that time. We was, you know what I'm saying, but I knew police was down there watching them. And I remember we was down there, was smoking. He was like, man, what did you do? And I said, look, bro, I'm not even gonna like try to, you know, fool you. Like, our situations are different. I said, once they on you, you're on you. Our situation, so I really can't comment. I said, but I tell you what I can do for you. I said, since they down here and they looking at everything you're doing, because they had agents down there, I said, why don't at the source was I think was in 2 days, or maybe the next day. I said, I'm gonna make up an award and give you an award. I got some extra awards and give you an award for the for Independent Record Label of the Year. And we gave them an award because I said this way here they'll look at you as a legal company and maybe that'll help. Because I knew we didn't know who they was, but they had agents down there following them at that time, and they knew that. So, you know, they got an award. They was happy about that. You know, that was my contribution to the BMF story.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Okay.
Then I remember, this is crazy, but I'm going to give you the exclusive. I ain't never
Let's
said
bring
this
it. Let's bring it.
because you my brother. So me and Trina had been messing around.
Hold on. Trina.
There's only one Trina. So me and Trina had been messing around, you know, and we've been messing around for a little bit, and I'll never forget. And you know, Meech is my guy. You know, we light skinned, we braids, we looking like brothers at the time. I'll never forget. And I was, you know, I remember flying in Jacob did flying him to put a diamond necklace on her birthday around her neck. You know, I had money like that at that time, and so I just didn't buy her the necklace. I flew him in, put a brand new iced out Jacob watch, and you know, at a birthday party. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I kind of fell for her, and I had Club Zeno down there at that time. I mean, I was balling out of control at that time. And then I remember Meech came down. I'll never forget. I went to a club, and then she was standing between Meech's legs, and that's when Meech got her. That's when, you know, it was over between us. But Meech, me and Meech never talked about that.
Wow.
But I never forget. I walked in, and she was standing right there. Well, you know, because when Meech and them, they deep, and they, you know, he's standing on the couches. She was right there with him, and I was like, oh snap, like, you know what I mean. But hey, listen, you know what I mean. That's how it goes, and I understood it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, like, you know, I was rich as hell back, so it wasn't like I was, you know, I was a little hurt because I'm human. You with somebody, and then you see that. And she didn't say nothing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I never told that story, man. But that happened. So you know.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Shout out to Meech. Free Big Meech. He's coming home next year.
Yeah,
and I think that's
crazy.
dope.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but you know, I dated a lot of celebrities.
And I know. So let's jump and let's go up a little to where, and before we go there, is it safe to say that Zeno is a ladies' man?
Oh yeah. I got that from my father.
And you love hard.
Yeah, I'm a
You're
cancer. I'm cancer.
Okay, so
cancer.
with saying that, you start getting into TV,
Love and Hip.
But even before the Love and Hip Hop, it was the thing with Love and Hip Hop was the show. That was the show with you and Aletha, right?
That was what?
You and Aletha.
Out there.
It
started out with Carly Red.
Yeah, because everybody keep blowing me up
So-
on the thing. Everybody asking about Cardi Red.
Yeah, so- okay, so-
I don't know why I forget this part.
Stevie.
So
Stevie.
I know, but the Cardi Red, because everybody want to know about you and Cardi
Well,
Red.
listen, Stevie was staying with me in Miami, and me and Stevie had a relationship way before Love and Hip Hop.
Hold on, before we go there, let's just get this
Commercial
quick commercial break in right quick. Let's get
Superstar. Yeah.
Let's give
Take
us
us to
something.
it, baby.
Take it to it. Hey, Zeno ain't caught on, man. We had to bring Zeno on here, boy. Maybe find another call. You never know.
When you ain't here, I'll come fill in for you. Man.
Exactly.
DJ
Hey, that's good
Superstar
enough.
101 TK.
We back. Man, it's been going down, man. 101 TKO Radio. Been chopping it up with my boy BENZINO. I gotta say that I think this interview is a step up from when I talked to you the first time, because I just been learning so much and you've been dropping so many gems, and it still feel like it's just not enough time.
Man, listen, I'm gonna come back, Johnny.
Yeah, we
This
definitely
part
bringing
one.
you
This
back.
part one.
We
gotta
are definitely
come back.
bringing you back.
I'm saying.
But you was about to get into some things, and we took a break. So I want you to, you know what I'm saying, elaborate on what you was about to express to us and everything.
And that was on what subject was that? 'Cause
We was talking
you
about
talking about Nelly.
Nelly, because you had asked.
You had asked
we,
about something.
we were talking about something that you had asked about, and we said before we get
We was
into
talking
that,
about the BMF. We talking about the
what was it that we said we were gonna get into?
Oh, man.
We
We have
got
to go back. So let me rewind it and
All
go
right.
back.
we'll have to rewind everything back just so we can get
We be talking off like when he plays. We still be talking. So
But I know something that I did want to know, and this may bring us back.
Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah, I was just about to go.
That's
into
what it
that.
was.
I was just about to go
Call me
into it.
back.
Yes.
All right. So I came up to Atlanta for just a couple of weeks to come with Stevie. Now, what I didn't know, because me and Stevie's a wild boy, so me and Sleaze, and I'm a
Yes,
wild boy.
yes.
So me and Sleaze was in Miami. He was staying with me down there for a minute. Then he went back to Atlanta. I didn't know that he had a baby by. When I came to Atlanta, I said, I'm gonna come up there for 2 weeks with you, do some music, and just chill up there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that he had a baby by Mimi. When I went up there,
Yeah.
because I had knew Mimi.
Yeah.
Before Stevie, like, and
Oh.
he kept that one. Usually he tells me things, you know what I'm saying? But he kept that one quiet when I went up there and he had the baby. I said, oh man, brand new baby by Mimi. So I just remember him and Mimi going through it. And I do remember him saying, like, yo, I got the next, I swear this is what he told me. He said, yo, I got the next Puerto Rican Nicki Minaj. That's what he said. He said, I got the next, this is before Love and Hip Hop. This was right before it. I got the next Puerto Rican Nicki Minaj. I was like, word? So when I went up there, I went to he said, come to the Atlantic Station, LA Fitness. And that's when he was in there with Jocelyn. Now, I had remembered Jocelyn from Miami, from the Rolex. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Jocelyn, she was a lot more slimmer back then. She was slimmer, and since she was Latina, it was like she kind of stood out because most of the people in the Rolex were black. So as a dancer, she was So I was like, man, it couldn't come to my mind because she really looked totally different. Her hair, and she had, everything. You know what I'm saying? She had the body. So I was like, okay, this is who it is, right? So now, mind you, I'm coming in there. What's dope about Stevie is that everything that y'all seen on Love and Hip Hop was written. This had Love and Hip Hop. He ain't even. I guess he casted with Mimi. With Mona, he casted it, but everything that he was going through was really in real life. Like he had just had the baby with Mimi, so he was dealing with her, and then he just got with Jocelyn, but they didn't know about each other at the time. And then he told me, yo, I'm about to do this thing called Love and Hip Hop. And I'm like, the only thing I knew about Love and Hip Hop was like, I remember seeing Chrissy and Jim.
Yeah.
I really didn't know too much about it. I was like, well, you gonna do Love and Hip Hop? I was like, yeah, and he showed me the casting tape, and next thing you know, he's on Love and Hip Hop, so he's doing scenes. So at the time, Stevie comes to me for advice. I go to him, but mainly he comes to me. You know what I'm saying? Because Sleaze is a little wild. Now I'm a little more level-headed. I've been through a few more things. And so he would be like, yo, he's like, look, I'm about to do this thing with Mimi, but I'm going to bring Jocelyn on. I was like, how is you going to do that? I'm like, bro, no, you can't do that. I'm like, she's going to know about Jocelyn through that? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, Stevie, he was confident that was going to work.
So he was playing everything out in real time.
In real time. And see, I know Mona was licking her chops because she hadn't got that yet. Usually, see, Mona, it was like, okay, you got a female and she's with her guy, and and we're going to show how the guy is a piece of crap. And you know what I'm saying? That's what Love and Hip Hop to me was, these rappers and how they cheat and how they do their girls wrong, but we're going to make the girls in power. So I don't think Mona knew that when Mona finally got wind that Stevie was bringing Jocelyn and Mimi and that was going to all take place on Love and Hip Hop, that's when Love and Hip Hop really blew up, because that actually happened people ask me, it's like, oh, that real? And I tell them our season was. I can't speak for none of this other stuff they doing now.
Yeah.
I said, but when we was on there, our season. So I would just be driving Stevie to the set, right? We were staying together because I had rented a crib and he was staying with me because him and Mimi was really going through it.
Yeah.
And him and Johnson was just, so I was taking him to set, and I just remember one day I'm in the whip smoking, and he came in. He still had the mic on, but we didn't know that they'd still be listening. So he's in there. He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm like, bro. I'm like, listen, you're gonna have to talk to Mimi." I'm like telling him stuff while we're parked outside the set, and they heard it, and it was like, "Yo, you don't mind being on camera doing this?" I was like, I don't mind, let's do it. And that's the first time I was talking about monogamous and everything. But while going on set, I had met Carly. Now, I met Carly, but me and Carly are dealing with each other offset. Like, nobody didn't know about it. Because I was even back in the day, I was dating a lot of celebrities that I'm going to hold to myself right now. Because when my book comes out, because there was a lot of them, a lot of very famous women that y'all know.
Can we get one?
Well, I gave you one.
Okay. That's a good answer. That's a good answer.
Yeah, but
I like that.
I got some more spicy, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Again, I want to shout out to my girl because she's open-minded enough to understand it. And I love her very much. So it's not like I'm talking about this and I don't want her to, but it was the past and it was my past. And eventually, when I come out with my book, I'm gonna speak. I'm gonna tell my truth, man. So me and Carly are messing around. I get the call from Mona. It's like, listen, you want to come? If you're messing with one of the girls, you're going to have to come on. I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, I'm a private person when it comes to, I said, I don't do that. I said, no. I said, Sleaze can do that, but not the Zista. So I was like, Carly was to the point, like, come on, let's do it. I said, you know what? If I'm going to do it, now I'm calculating. I'm watching what Stevie going through. I'm watching what Scrappy going through. Everybody's going through all these problems because Love and Hip Hop has put them in position to where it's like, okay, yeah, you with this girl, but then they digging up your ex, and they, that was it. I wasn't gonna get involved with that in real life because when I first came to Atlanta, I've been messing with a couple of girls. Atlanta's Atlanta.
Yeah,
everybody got a couple of girls. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is all right. I ain't been to Atlanta like that. I'm like, it was easy. Like, there's women everywhere, and it's like it was easy, especially if you got some money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got a little bit of emotion.
Yes.
So I'm like, I cut off every chick I was talking to in real life. I mean, blocked them, and this is when I first learned how to block people. And I mean, because I knew that I'm gonna go on there, and I'm gonna show them what being a one woman guy is. Because I knew then they'll look at me as the good guy. If they're looking at Scrappy and Stevie messing with these women, and they're like, damn, I'm gonna be the one guy that, okay, come on, Carly. And that was the first scene when she came over and I cooked this big lobster dinner for her. I had the real big house. I had the whip. You know what I'm saying? And that was the first time where I think she got on my lap and I was tongue kissing her, like I French kissed. Nobody did that. Yeah. So I think I brought that element to Love and Hip Hop of that lover boy, and I was proud of that. Now, Carly moved in with me. It's like, man, this is all right. I ain't never experienced this. I'm on TV and people are liking me, and this is cool. So yeah, I'm not even gonna cheat on Carly. I'm gonna do this, man. You know what I'm saying? So Carly's living with me, and she started coming at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning in real life. I'm like, listen, I'm starting to hear things about Waka. I'm starting to hear things about Roscoe Dash. I'm like, look, I'm not gonna be no fool. I'm not gonna be no fool. So if you keep coming in late like this, then I'm gonna get you up out of here. This ain't got nothing to do with the show or nothing. I'm not gonna have you play me like this. She came in late one more last time. I kicked her out the crib, and then the rest was history. When I was gonna give her the ring, I really was gonna propose to her because I'm thinking we're gonna have our own show. I'm thinking this is gonna be big, a marriage on TV. I'm like, yeah, I can do this. Why not? I'm getting older. I can get married. I'm like, Sleaze, I'm gonna do this. He's like, do it. Man.
So you really had true feelings for Carly.
Me and Carly was at a place where I wasn't like, I've only been before Carly. I've only been in a few relationships, like with Coy's mom, Asia. I was with her for like 10 years, and prior to that, my son Ray Ray's mother, like 3-4 years, and then maybe like 1 or 2 other girlfriends. But I was such a street guy that I just was, messing with girls. I really wasn't into relationships. So I was like, man, like, I think the TV and everything kind of contributed to to what I wanted the relationship with me and Carly. Like, it was like if me and Carly probably had just met, I probably wouldn't have been so fast to want to get married. But things were going so good, and I'm like, man, this is a bag, and why not? Let's get married. Like, you know, she's older, I'm older. Hey, let's go. I'm down to try this. And then I had just heard about a prenup. I didn't know what that was, but when I heard about it, I was like, yeah, dope. That means that if we break up, she don't get nothing I got. Yeah, let's. You know what I'm saying? Would you sign a prenup? And she was like, yeah. So I'm like, I went and got the jeweler. I got the ring, like a 20-band ring for free, because I got him a scene on the, you know what I'm saying? I said, listen, if I get you the scene, you got to give me the ring. You know what I'm saying? Got the ring. And then when I went there, she had already been messing around. I'd already kicked her out the house. And I remember I went there with Stevie and her father, and it was the infamous where she was like, I was like, it's like, I don't think you rock. She was like, well, I don't know if you rock with me. I was like, if I don't rock with you, what about this? And she was like, oh my God. And I went to give it to her, and then she went to it, and I said, ooh. They must have did that scene over like 4 or 5 times now.
Wow.
With Hip Hop. And then I left later on that day. No camera, she came. Like that night she came, we had the door open. I had another girl over there. She ran the room, tried to fight the girl. I had me and Stevie downstairs in the studio. She's screaming, crying. She wants her ring. I was like, I'm not giving you that ring. I said, if you don't leave my house, I'm gonna call the police. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, and she was outside and she was mad and she eventually left. But, you know, listen, and I don't say this to disrespect Carly, because Carly has done amazing things with Love and Hip Hop. And, you know, Carly has after me, there was a whole line of guys, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that was a moment and people still remember it, and it was history. So
wow.
There it goes. That's my Carly Red story.
Wow. Shouts out to Carly. Shouts out to Carly.
You know what I'm saying? Carly's been there. Like, when you think about who's still on there, like me and Mama D still talk. Shout out to Mama D. Carly, Mama D, Scrappy. Like, there's a few people that are still on there that have been on there for a long time.
Yeah, a long time.
Since day one. So, you know, I mean, I think it's almost 10 seasons, 11 seasons of Love and Hip Hop.
Now, your second relationship.
Out there.
Tell us about that.
Well,
because I think Out There was one that kind of really got to you.
Yeah, I fell for Out There.
Yeah.
Hook, line, and sinker. You know, when I met Out There, her and Stevie, it was, you know, it was known that her and Stevie, I had knew about her and Stevie had messed around, and then I had, you know, I felt like we went out off camera, and I just was like, I remember seeing Out There back in the day singing with Foxy, and I do remember looking like, damn, you know what I'm saying? And when we met, it was like, you know, I was impressed, and I fell, man. I fell. At that point, I still had a little more money. I still was moving around. I had been on Love and Hip Hop. People were feeling me at this point. You know, this was like my 3rd season. So then this was the one I said, you know what? I'm definitely marrying her. I got a bigger ring, you know what I'm saying, than the one I got Carly. I just was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was, you know, she, you know, I didn't know it. Like, I had got chicks like Louis bags before, you know, you spend a little $2,500, but, you know, Out There wanted Chanel bags. I was like, $6,000 for a bag. I was like,
that's taking you up the ladder with that Chanel now.
Yeah, like, I didn't know about the $6,000 a bag thing. So I'm just saying that because this is where I was at, and I just was, anything she wanted, I would get her. And I remember a lot of the scenes in Love and Hip Hop was my idea. Like, I proposed to her on the Ferris wheel. That was my idea. And they brought the cameras, and I did that. Like the scene with Kirk at the Kirk with the hot tub and Bambi that they're still talking about now.
That hot tub is a conversation.
8 years later, they are still talking about the hot tub. But that was my idea, to go up to have a guys' night, go up to Blue Ridge. That was my idea. Like, a lot of the scenes on there was my idea and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody at Love and Hip Hop. You know, Mona, Stephanie, Brian, everybody.
What really went down in that hot tub?
Well, nothing. Well, you know, I'm gonna tell you what happened before the hot tub. Well, let me tell you what happened before the hot tub. Me and Bambi had been messing around, but I got to like second base with Bambi. You know, try to slide into third type thing, but it never got home, right? But I was really a good guy to Bambi. Like, one thing about Bambi's gonna travel with her cousins, her friends. Like, she's gonna come. She ain't gonna come by herself. So I'm a guy that cooks. They come over the crib. You know what I'm saying? I had the big crib with the heated pool out in Smyrna. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I was on Love and Hip Hop, it was, you know. So I don't know how we ended up hooking up, but we hooked up. And I remember there was a girl named Mary Jane. Did you know her friend Mary Jane?
Yeah, I know Mary Jane.
Wild card, right?
I know Mary.
So they had spent the night, or they would spend the night over the cribs a few times, and the plan was that we was gonna go to the hot tub. And Mary Jane was gonna see if she can get Kurt to knock it off, like in real life. And I was like, man, I didn't know Kurt like that. It's not like I was setting him up to do anything wrong with him and Rashida, but it's TV, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna have fun. We're going to, me and Kurt rode up there on our motorcycles. They filmed us. I mean, it was dope. And so, but the plan was for Mary Jane to really get it in with Kurt, and Bambi knew. Like we set it up. We talked about it till like 4 that morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mary Jane knew the assignment. Bobby Valentino, we had called Bobby, and Bobby said, listen, I'm gonna bring a couple of chicks over and we're gonna really have a good time. Kirk, for some reason, had this pass from Rashida. This pass. I'm like, a pass. I'm like, this is dope. All this stuff is new to me. I'm like, this is some Atlanta-ish. Like, how is you getting a pass? Like, for real? I'm like, we're going to have the times up. Now, at this point, I'm thinking that I'm getting ready to get it from Bambi. I'm like, I'm finally going to get it this time. It's going down, right? We in the tub, we kissing them, Kurt. They two of them on Kurt. It's getting, when it comes time, Love and Hip Hop's like, all right, come on, y'all, let's go upstairs. Now, we drunk. We playing strip poker, drunk. Everybody a little saucy. Kurt and the two chicks go in the bedroom. Me and Bambi go in my bedroom. So I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Bambi was like, nope. I was like, no. She was like, I can't do it. I took a deep breath, because you got to take a deep breath, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, because, right now, you at this point, you're going to get blue balls at this point, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what blue balls is?
Yeah, we know blue balls is.
So I'm like frustrated as hell, but I don't want to show her that I'm trying to be a gentleman. I'm like, I understand, no problem. I'm mad as hell. I was ready to leave, but they're like, no, you got to stay over the night because you and Kirk got to see to do in the morning. So Bambi was going to leave, and I was mad as hell because here I am, single. I wasn't with nobody at the time. I wasn't with Althea. I wasn't with, this was after Carly, before Althea. And he's in here with two chicks, and he's married. And Rashida's pregnant. I'm like, I'm sitting in my room, like, what the hell? We got this big cabin. I'm sitting like, trying to evaluate myself, like, man, what's going on, right? So they called me, and before Bambi left, they called me and Bambi in the room. They said, Bambi, we want you and Zeno to walk in the room on Kurt. So we go in the room, and they in the bed. They in the bed, and it's like, I'm seeing naked asses and titties all over the place, right? And there's 4 cameras in there. And the cameramen are like perverts. They're like this. They're looking at me with the corner of their eye. When Bambi walked in, she screamed. So you got a bed with all these cameras in every angle on the bed. You got the producers, and everybody's quiet as hell. And they're just like, I'm like, granted, now I don't know if they're actually having intercourse, but man, I'm looking at Kurt like, Bambi's like, I was like, oh my God, and ran out. I'm sitting there like, you are my hero. Yeah, I put him up there with Ali and all the Jordan, and I'm just like, Kurt Frost is the, you know what I'm saying? So whether they had intercourse or not, you're going to have to ask Kurt that. I'm sure he's not going to say it did, because with the respect for his beautiful wife, Rashida. Shout out to Rashida, because I'm not here to mess up any man's happy home.
Yeah.
But I think their love stood the test of time, and I'm proud of them. But that was a weird situation for me. The next morning we got up, I had to stay there, and I remember Kurt, and I remember he wasn't really saying too much, but I still was salty because, of my situation. But man, Love and Hip Hop was, with Althea, we had a child.
Exactly.
And, we went through a lot, me and Althea. After the fight at the reunion, and we just went through a lot, and I felt that the storyline shifted to kind of like for everybody to pick on Althea at that time, like, because people knew she had messed with Stevie. I think her and Nico, when they was 15 years old, grew up in Brooklyn. None of that meant nothing to me, because it's like you with me now, and I don't care about the past. I got a past. I don't. When you love somebody, and this is what I thought, and this is how I acted. This is what I stood on. When you love somebody, whatever was the past is gone. I don't care about the thing with Steve. He's my man, and if he's gonna have to understand that I love you, and just like I will understand whoever he loves. And
but was that kind of awkward for you, knowing there's somebody you around?
You know what? We in the hood, man, and we all grow up amongst each other. It's not as awkward. If you make it awkward, then it can be awkward. But if you're mature about it, and everybody's, you know what I'm saying, because just because they fucked, they wasn't in love. I felt that our relationship, or at least I was in love, was on a much different level. So I'm not thinking about anybody fucking. You know, I'm thinking about, I love this woman, and if you love me as a friend, then you're gonna respect that. Gotcha. You know, but I don't think Love and Hip Hop did. I think the storyline shifted. And
do you think that played a big part of y'all breakup?
Of course, yeah, 100%. At that moment, and you know, listen, Althea was singing, and she'd been trying to, you know what I'm saying, break into the entertainment business for a minute. So who knows, you know what I'm saying? She gave me a baby boy, so one could say, that, just don't give someone a baby that you don't love. So we had love, but it just, trying to do things on a reality show is hard, man. Like, it really is. And I don't really recommend it.
I was just going to say, do you suggest?
No. I mean, you have to have a really strong bond, because it's not so much of what you're filming, it's what happens after you film. And that's, nobody wants to look like a sucker or be embarrassed, so people hold that. So when you're going home, it's hell after that. And that's what I think a lot of these reality show producers, executive producers, and founders have to realize. And people who do it. Not all money's good money. And I'm not loving.
Did you go back to reality TV? I got people saying we need BENZINO back.
No. Under the right circumstance. I did a lot of reality TV. Me and Althea did Marriage Boot Camp, Love.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I got to get therapy, and I really, really needed it, because I felt like I never really even understood what love was, based on my mother and father. Not that my father didn't love my mother, but they didn't get married. And I got like 10, 11, 12 stepbrothers and sisters. And, so I really didn't, the only love I'm seeing is marriages, stuff on TV, Brady Bunch, even the Flintstones, like Wilma and Fred were married. You really didn't see too much in the hood as far as what love was supposed to be. So I didn't realize it until older. And then when I started getting therapy from these shows, I never got therapy. You know what I'm saying? From these shows, I got therapy, and I did learn a lot about myself. And I think me and Althea went through a lot, but, we have a beautiful child, and he is the love of my life. He, honestly, all the stuff that I go through, in life, he really is the most sincere. I just can't even explain, it's just the most purest form of love that I could have, him being his age. Now, your kids grow up and they get distant from you. So that's why Zeno is important to me right now, because when all else fails, he's there. That love is there. Yeah. And it's essential for my survival. It really is.
One last question before we get ready to wrap it up, and we're going to have to definitely bring you back for a part 2.
For sure.
But, God, there's so many questions they asking over there. Somebody says Zeno just need to cool his temper down sometimes.
You're right.
Okay.
Right. And I've learned that, and you're right. I've had temper issues. Most of us do. I've been through a lot, man. A lot of trauma. I hold a lot in. And sometimes they might see me crying is because I gotta let it out some way, and that's my valve.
Well, somebody wanted to know: did you really try to mess with Jocelyn?
That part right there, I don't want to really get into it, because me, Jocelyn, Stevie, everybody's at a good place now, and I don't want to rehash anything to make anybody upset. But just know that I knew Jocelyn before Stevie at the Rolex, when she was dancing at the Rolex. I knew her before that. I'm gonna say that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this industry, our community, it's a small community, man. You'd be surprised, man. You know what I'm saying? Johnny, me and you probably, you know what I'm saying, might have hollered at the same girl. You know what I'm saying? If we all go into the same strip clubs, we all go into the same, you're going to run across, you know what I'm saying? We all love beautiful people, so, who knows? I mean, it's not done on purpose. Things just happen. So, I'm going to leave that for y'all to figure it out.
And one last thing, the relationship with you and Stevie, like, did that like really happen? I mean, was it?
We
was
fell
that-
off for
was
a
that-
year and a half.
Yeah, was that a real fall?
A year and a half, me and Stevie didn't speak after reunion. A year and a half, and that was hard because me and Stevie were good friends. But like good friends and brothers, we came back. When you look at Stevie and Jocelyn, me and out there, we both had babies by them. They're around the same age. When Zeno and Bella get together, like they love each other. You know what I'm saying? They know each other. But I'm not with out there, and Stevie's not with Jocelyn now. So you see how things kind of played out.
Yeah.
We're fighting over them and all that, and then we're not even with them now. It happens, and it was hard because like I said, he was my friend, and everything we went through. But me and Sleeves, what I'm saying, I haven't talked to him lately. What I'm saying, I know with everything going on, with the situation with Diddy, that he's been real low.
I can't get it. I don't want to spend my time today where I wanted to get into the Diddy situation.
I'm gonna say one thing on that, and then we can wrap it up. I'm really surprised. Since when are we giving our people to them? Why are we getting like this? Since when are we, as many dudes that done got locked up and is locked up right now, and everybody has family members that been locked up, since when we already give somebody to the police? Like Diddy hasn't been accused of nothing. There's been no criminal charges filed or nothing. And it seemed like a lot of people our own people are already ready to give him up to them folks. And that's disappointing. Listen, we're in a land of laws. If you break them, you have to serve your time. We all know that. But let them convict us, not us convict us. Okay? And I'm disappointed in our community and our culture for this. I really am. And that, we could talk more on it. I know we got to go, but
have you been to a Diddy party?
Not at his house, but in Manhattan, and had a good time. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think some of the allegations that are being thrown out there, do you think it's any truth?
Well, check this out. Lil Rod put that tape of Stevie supposedly with a gay man, and that wasn't true. So when you have one falsehood, then it opens doors for everything else to be false. That tape, he put that tape in there, and that's not even Stevie. Rod, and I know Rodney. Stevie brought Rodney around. Rodney's an amazing bass player. He comes from the church.
Yeah, I know
his
Rodney
mother
too.
and father. I know him.
Yeah.
I've done work with him. I've been in studios with him. You know what I'm saying? Rodney's a guy, married, kids. Rodney loves the ladies.
Yeah.
I do know that, but once I seen the video of the fake video of Stevie of the gay video, and I knew that wasn't him, and that's in Rod's. Then to me, once you see one falsehood, then what else could you be lying about, or what else are you just throwing in there? Because we know when it comes to civil suits, Johnny, we all know, we are not foolish. We know that's a money grab. When you sue people and civilly, that's about money. So whatever you're gonna put in that necessarily doesn't have to stand up, doesn't have to get the same scrutiny as it is if it was a criminal and you're in front of a grand jury. When you're in front of a grand jury and you lie, you could go to jail for that. If you lie in a civil case, you're not gonna go to jail. You might not get your money, but you won't go to jail. And that's the difference. And I just want people to know, listen, we don't give ours to them. We gotta stop that. If he broke a law, then let them find that out. Let them convict him. He do his time like the thousands of other black men, your uncles, your brothers, your fathers, and everybody else do. Since when do we give them to him? And that's what's happening now. And I don't condone that, and I'm not for that. I'm not for, listen, whatever Diddy did and everything, I'm not in any man's business. Whoever he sleeps with surely isn't my business. I think when men preoccupy themselves what other men do in their bedroom, then that makes them weird to me. Like, what type of mind do I have, or maturity, or if I'm worried about who you sleeping with, whether it's male or female, I could care. It's none of my business.
Yeah.
And the one thing that we do have is we're supposed to have that's supposed to be private. So I don't get into that, man. It's just a sad situation for everybody involved, I don't condone anybody getting abused. I don't condone anybody messing with young kids. I don't condone none of that because that's not what I'm about. But for sure, I've been through this system enough, and then, and my guys enough to where listen, man, you got to, if they find him guilty and they take him through the courts and everything, and then let him have his day. But man, come on, man. What they did to Bill Cosby, what they do, look what they're doing to all our black guys. I mean, come on, man. Muhammad, go back to Muhammad Ali, throw him in jail. This is the champion of the world because he don't want to go to the army. I mean, come on. We can't give these folks our people. We can't give them to them.
I respect that. And on that note, we're going to go on and wrap it up. But we are definitely coming back for a part 2.
Yeah, we got to.
Because it's still so much that we haven't even been able to touch on. But, man, I want you to know that, man, I have already respected you. You know what I'm saying? Looked up to you. From my perspective and my relationship I have with you, you've been nothing but good. Anytime I call you, you've been there. You never been just, you know what I'm saying?
You're a great guy, Johnny. You're a great guy.
But it's always been good energy.
You're a good for
you know
years.
Yeah.
Listen, I looked at that video, and then that's how long we've known each other. That video said 14 years ago with me and Shorty Low. I think it said 14 years ago. How long has Low been gone?
Low been gone for about 7 years now. 6, 7, 8 years now.
That video.
Low been gone since 2000. I think 15. So
I was at his
about
funeral.
8 years.
Low, listen. That's when I met you, like 14, 15 years ago. I based it on watching that video.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Stevie's in that video too.
Yeah, so man, we definitely gotta, you know what I'm saying, bring you back, man. This is home for you, man.
Man,
anytime you wanna come on, man,
I appreciate
you know what I'm saying, you
I
always
appreciate it,
welcome
man.
here. And did we get a chance to play this? I ain't trying to be, you know what I'm saying, messy or nothing, but did we play this record with him that he had?
I couldn't find it clean.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, might not. Yeah, well, you don't want to clean up a diss record.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to clean
We
up.
don't apologize. We don't AI people. We go right after them. You know what I'm saying? I come from the time when diss records was we going after everything that hurts you. We don't apologize. Shout out to J. Cole, one of my favorite rappers, and we don't use AI. Shout out to Drake. We just don't do that. But times are different.
Was that? God, I'm trying to get out of this. But was that for what J. Cole did? Did you look at him differently?
No.
Or did you respect him?
I respect him. I looked at him for what he was. That is J. Cole. J. Cole rides a bike. J. Cole don't talk about killing nobody. J. Cole is an amazing human being when it comes to hip hop. And if anybody that you want to use as a role model, then I would use him. And honestly,
So for him to apologize,
that is great because that's what he represents, and that's we need that. Because right now, these kids are out of control. There's this new generation and all this. So we needed that. Now, me coming from where I come from, I'm not with that. But things change, and you have to adapt and adjust. J. Cole...
do you feel like he lost some respect?
No.
Because once you go there, it's like bringing out a gun.
No, Johnny, he never was that type of rapper in the first place.
You're right. You're right.
He never was that. And even his diss record wasn't a diss record. It's just people. If anybody could apologize and got a pass from that, is J. Cole.
Okay, I accept that.
All right.
I accept that.
Now the AI thing with Tupac and Snoop, I'm not with that at all. There's no excuse for that. Drake could have just took them lyrics and just said that himself. You know what I'm saying? Now he's getting sued by Parks Estate, and that.
I wish I could talk on because I know, man.
I'm not with the AI thing. Let's leave AI out of it. You know.
All right, well, man, I appreciate you coming up, man. Everybody from my IG, they've been tuning in. Like, great interview, good interview. You know what I'm saying? We need more like these. You know what I'm saying? They just been loving it. A lot of people like, man, I wish I would have tuned in earlier. A lot of people. Watch it, though. Yeah. It's gonna be up. Plus, you know what I'm saying? They can go on YouTube.
You gonna drop clips and all that?
Yeah, this gonna get loaded up right when I finish, and it's gonna be up. But it's also on YouTube and everything. But a lot of people respect you, man. A lot of people saying they got a lot of respect for you, and you were saying some real.
I got love for everybody, man. I love my people, man.
I can't wait to bring you back.
I love the struggle. I love my people in the struggle, man. I've always been that type of guy, and catch me in your hood at a gas station getting some swishes for real.
I heard that note, man. We'll see y'all next week. You know what I'm saying? Next week we got a good show coming up, man, for y'all. Got my man Fabo that will be in the building with us, and my boy Joe, the director. You know what I'm saying? He's shooting a movie right now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Are you in the movie?
he supposed to be calling me to come get my part. I gotta call him. Matter of fact, when he come on this show, I'm gonna call him out.
Yeah, man, I want to roll too,
You know
Joe.
what I'm saying?
I'm trying to get my
Hey,
business.
Zeno need to roll too.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, matter of fact, we calling you out when you get up here. It's going down. He gonna have to shoot us that same day.
Let's go.
On that note, man, we're gonna see y'all next week, man. We had a great time on Get in Front of Your boy Johnnie Cabbell, my boy Superstar DJ, and Superstar. We gotta have a talk with our co-host, cause this her second week. She was supposed to call in today. She ain't call in. So we gotta have a talk with her.
Accountability.
Yeah, accountability.
Yeah.
We can't.
Where's the Johnnie Cabbell merch at? Because I want you to get lighters next time. The Johnnie Cabbell, get in front of Johnnie Cabbell lighters. All right.
Hey, that's a good idea.
All right.
We gotta get that.
Yeah, 'cause
gotta get that.
ain't no
We
lighters
gotta
here.
get that. All right, man. We out.